Jump scare! Jared, the stream hadn't even started yet. Thank you for the 10 gifted memberships, Jared. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Welcome to stream, everybody. Welcome to Monday's stream. It is Monday. I'm pretty sure, and we're drawing. We do be drawing. Yippee! I've got a little bit of a headache, but I took an ibuprofen, so I should be okay soon. Let's draw a bitchy wizard. Whee! Okay, so guys, here's the thing. My goal is to finish 2 of these drawings today, and I think I should be able to do this because the 2 I have planned today have much simpler outfits than the 2 that I drew last time. So today, we have a Darius, bitchy little Zara clone. I love him. And then we also have a Willow! A Willow! So we're gonna try to ink and color both of these. I don't know if this will be possible, but boy howdy, I sure would love if I got both of these done today. Because my goodness, I'm starting to get a wee bit stressed out, gang. I reached the terminal stress point that I can get to sometimes if I'm juggling too many plates all at once. Where I have to break down my list of tasks into precise days. Where it's just like, okay, Monday I'm gonna do this, and Tuesday I'm gonna do this, and Thursday I'm gonna do this. And I haven't had to do that in a while, but I had to do it for basically the entire rest of the month of October so that I could stay sane and make sure I got all my stuff done. And so finishing these drawings today would be very helpful. Be very helpful. But other than that, we're just going to be vibing. OBS, are you gonna be normal? You gonna be normal? You gonna behave? I think we're good now. It just dropped to 0 bitrate for a bit there, so I restarted the stream. We stop that, please. I have so much work I need to do, OBS, and I don't need your nonsense interfering with it, please and thank you. Anyway. How are we holding up, chat? Oh. NSVR, thank you for the super chat.
Got a character idea watching you. An elf who loves mechanics and magic combines the 2 to create magical machinery, such as trains that run on magic rails. Thanks for the inspo. Take my money.
NSVR, thank you for the super chat. That sounds fun. I hope you have fun with your new little blobbo. Have some fun with that little guy. But yes, I don't know why you guys would be... We're just doing a normal stream, and there's no reason for anyone to be mad at me. No reason. No reason. No reason for anyone to be... Yeah, Vector commits tax fraud in the new pages, very much. That is exactly what happens. Don't worry about it. Star, what'd you do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I saw some people in the comments calling me a liar for some of the stuff I said on stream, and for the record, I'm gonna go on record and say, I did not lie. I said no untruths. I never said that what happened in the most recent pages was not going to happen. I just implied it was silly for you guys to assume that I would. But yes, I was very nervous about that reveal. The 2 pages that came out, I'm not going to say what it is. Let's try to avoid spoilers in the chat, please. But this was something I knew was going to happen, like, from step 1. Like, that was always in the plans, and that had been in the plans for the entire time. Like, every draft of this chapter had that in it. And so that is why I warned, is like, hey, the chapter's gonna get a little bit darker than usual. And stuff's gonna happen. But yes. I heard there was Zara lore last stream and I don't want to miss more. Well, we're drawing his bitchy clone right now, so I mean, does that count? Oh, Darius. The boy you are. But yeah, and then just because I saw some folks talking about it in the chat, or like in the comments, and I guess also a little bit in chat too, we are not even anywhere close to the end of the chapter. We've still got a ways to go, because we still got like 20 pages left in the chapter, because I believe there's 71 pages in chapter 12. So we are just over the half. We're like at the 2/3 mark. That was the first climax of several. So buckle the fuck up. I will say, we are past the darkest part of the chapter. I will say that much. But we are not past the most dramatic parts. Buckle up, nerds. I thought it was funny. So, for those who don't know, folks on my Patreon get early access to the pages. They get cast-off pages about a month in advance. And I know that the folks in early access, I have an early access chat room on my Discord. I know that the folks in early access were excited for last night's pages because they were like, oh my god, they're finally gonna see what drove us all crazy. And then I also dropped a huge lore dump on early access people. So yesterday was a big day for everybody. Zoe, hi! Welcome. Welcome, you and your bagel bites. Can you share? Can you just like shove a bagel bite in your computer? I'll eat it. Ha! I'm waiting for my bagel bite. Nom 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 nom. But yeah, chapter 12 is a big one. How we feeling, gang? Why must Sage suffer? Character development, next question. Yeah, guys, let's try not to post actual spoilers in the chat. You can, like, be vague, but don't, like, actually post spoilers, because some people haven't read today's update yet. Same reason to make Verity suffer, really. Alright, get out of here! Quick, everyone, the Corn Man is here! Bully him! Bully him as I instructed! Get his ass! Jay, people were asking about you before you got here. I saw people in the chat asking if you were gonna be on stream talking about weapons again today. The people love you. Do it on your own channel, though. Get him. Get his ass. Oh.
Because you inspired me, have a little more. These two are the only donations I can realistically make. I appreciate your videos. Lots of love.
NSVR, thank you for another super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It makes me so happy whenever people say that I inspired them, because I'm just like, yes, go forth and make thine own blobos. Yes, submit to the brainworms. It's good for you. Stupid wizard and a stupid little wizard's peak? Widow's peak. That's what it's called now. That is what it is called now, though. I have decided. Glad Vector got over his cold. I like hearing him. Yeah, the bot's not the most stable, and so sometimes it will randomly go down midstream. But you know, when it works, it's cute. So we like when it works. Yippee. Having a wizard's peak is peak wizard. It is, but up. Is this D&D character's of yours a love child of Zara and Legolas? No. His name is Darius, and he's a little bitch, and I love him. Here. Can I actually use that as a springboard for something really quick? I'm not calling out this person in chat specifically, but I have been getting more and more comments recently, like comparing characters of mine to characters that exist in like larger pieces of media. And you know, for sometimes it doesn't bother me so much, but when it's constant, it gets really freaking annoying, and it's not the compliment you think it is. So like, I'm not saying that you guys do that. I'm just saying, you know, in general, don't. It's not the compliment that you think it is. No, Ember Arts, you're fine. You're fine. I am just using that as kind of like a springboard to talk about something that's been on my mind recently, because I have been getting so many comments. I got a lot on my OCs video of people saying, it's like, oh, this character looks like so-and-so. And I'm like, I'm not gonna delete this comment because it's good for the algorithm, but you could have commented literally anything else. You could have commented literally anything else. Thalia won. Thalia was definitely the one that got the most comments. But none of them are immune. And so it's just like, let's not, like, compare original characters to, like, massive media properties. It's like, it's fine in small amounts, but when you get an audience, like, that's kind of larger, you start getting them a lot, and it gets really aggravating. And so I simply request that we not. I simply request that we not. This is why I don't really comment. I hate making my favorite character creators annoyed. I mean, like, most comments are nice. I love most of the comments I get. It's just, you know, you get the one or two that, like, can we not say that my kid is like, oh my god, they look just like so-and-so. And I'm like, can we not actually? Thanks. Can we not? Or Minecraft YouTubers. God, I get so freaking many comparisons to, like, Minecraft YouTubers, and I'm like, I don't even know what Minecraft is! Get out of my comment section! And I feel like I have to chase them off with a broom. I have to chase them off with a broom. Get out of here. And be gone. I've been compared to my nemesis who shall not be named so many times. No! At that point, you just gotta, like, block their names from appearing in your comment section. Just get them out of here. The only reason I haven't blocked some of the more common ones that I've been getting is because it's like, thanks for boosting me in the algorithm. I will be blocking you now. Or I will be deleting this now, so. Just like, get out of here. Like, I can tolerate it most of the time, but it's just, you know, you ever pour, like, your heart and soul into something and the only thing people can comment is, oh, it looks like this other character! Anyway. Small PSA. Don't do that. Don't do that. But yes. Thoughts on Goku? There we go. There it is. I want to learn his hair dye secret so that I too can go from like very dark hair to blonde in a matter of moments. The super secret Saiyan secrets of changing your hair color instantaneously. Need that for me so I can dye my hair blue. Molly cat. Oh, she is here. Oh, she is here. So how's that journaling going? Oh, Sly. Oh no, hold on. Hang on a tick. There is a corn in my voice chat. 1 second. Let me make sure that my shit. Hang on. Turn this down. Bonjour. Hold on, I can't hear you for some reason.
You're supposed to say bienvenue.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
Sup?
I have risen. Hello.
Hello. Are you here to talk about swords for 3 hours this time?
I don't. I feel bad about taking over your stream last time.
Oh yeah, here, hold on. Let's try to fix. Yeah, I did have your volume turned up a little bit in Discord. That's why you maybe sounded a bit crunchy last time.
Raunchy. Listen, I have not the finest in technology, but at some point I will have the finest in technology for microphones, and then you're all fucked.
You do already actually sound a little better, because I remember you sounded a little bit crunchy on my end anyway last time, so.
I see. Well, I have done nothing.
Oh, well. Maybe the phantom, the microphone ghosts.
I have.
Hey, Jay, you want to talk about this bitchy wizard?
I do like this bitchy wizard. So did you decide to go with blonde then? You were waffling on blonde. Is that what you chose?
Yeah, I'm fighting for my life in the Waffle House, but we're not coloring yet. We're just doing inking right now, and then I will give my diatribe about the Waffle House when we get to the coloring stage.
Indeed,
you keep mispronouncing perfect.
We have a pretty
Zoe,
good story.
You're biased. You just love your bitchy wizards, and we know this.
Oh, Jared coming in with me sounding way better. Hello, you're all very welcome.
Welcome to the podcast. The Corn Man Swords Cast.
Welcome to Star and Jay's Blorbo Hour. With me, as always, is my co-host Star. Star, how are you doing today?
I am fighting for my life in the Waffle House.
That Waffle House is gonna win.
Oh.
It's the Waffle
House is not a competitor.
Waffle always wins.
The Waffle House is
always
the
bet on
setting
Waffle House.
for the fight.
It doesn't matter. Waffle House will still win.
No, you're right though. You're right though.
We don't even have them up here in Canada.
We didn't get to go to them when I dragged your ass to Atlanta. I'm so sad. We missed our waffle-tunity.
The waffle-tunity.
The waffle waffle
You did bring us to the very first time I have ever been at a restaurant like the one we went to, though. With like a very dangerous fire pit in the middle of the table and
Oh
stuff.
yeah, the Korean barbecue place I took you guys to. That was fun.
Yes. It
You
was
ever
great.
just set
I
your
love
food
that.
on fire in the middle of the table for fun? Yippee.
God, return to waffle. Maybe Vernon's crowd god is really in like a trans-dimensional waffle house. And eventually it'll all come crashing down.
No, Jay, are you stupid? It's obviously a trans-dimensional Joe's Crab Shack.
Whatever it is, it's very much like the restaurant at the end of the universe. Which
I could believe that Joe's Crab Shack
absolutely
is
one of
that. Where's Ronathan? He has to settle this. Oh, I need to type on Discord that we're streaming.
Oh. Correct. So are we talking about the bitchiest wizard to ever exist?
Yes.
I definitely decided to, at some point, I can't remember when it was, I decided to write Darius as though he had the most reasons anyone has ever had to be bitchy. And it is so far doing very well.
This way.
That's right. For one, he's an elf, and elves are naturally bitchy.
Looks at Zara. Oh. My everything disconnected. Hello? Jay, are you there? I'm scared. Ah, shit. Ah, beans. Everything's broken. Arnar.
On.
Okay, we had a pretty major computer glitch just there, so if you were talking, I heard none of it. Oh, there goes all
Amazing.
my chat. Whee!
There it goes.
There it goes.
Wow. Your
My
poor
internet
ISP.
did a bad.
I can
And
see that.
everything happened all at once. I'm a cardboard cutout now. Because my phone is once again overheating. Which is cool.
Upsetting.
Love that for me. So while
Is your
cools
phone
down,
a Samsung by any chance?
No, it's an iPhone.
Oh. Gross. Well.
Listen, they have the best motion capture, and it's what I'm used to.
Actually, it would have been worse if you had had a Samsung, because they overheat when their battery starts to die.
Oh.
So that would have been a bad situation for the while. What?
Yeah. Well, anyway, say everything you just said again, because we picked up none of it.
Oh. Well, I was talking about the bastard man and how he was a bastard all the time.
Yes.
Because the how he grew up was everyone thinking he wasn't good enough.
Yep.
Lots of high standards until he finally came to Red Larch and met a bunch of weirdos who loved him for who he was. And in return, he was a bitch to them the entire time.
Yup. So I wrote about this in the little thing that I put on my Unveil, on Verity's like profile for Unveil. I kind of wrote like a little thing just talking about the characters from her backstory and how they met and what their relationships were like and stuff like that. And Darius's story is he was actually the third one to join like the friend group, so he was actually a fairly early addition. Okay, my phone is no longer overheating, so let's see if I can not be a cardboard cutout anymore. Hello.
Would be nice.
It sure would. Wouldn't it be nice if I could function and move around like I'm supposed to?
Animated character loses animation abilities and privileges.
Yeah, something like that.
You have been deemed by the Cartoon Council to not be good enough.
Nar.
They have taken away your animation privileges.
No, my bones. There we go. I live.
There you go. Your bones have returned.
I did. I got him back.
Mm-hmm.
I had to fight a skeleton, but I got it. Okay.
You gotta figure out a way to make this run easier through your computer, my friend.
Anyway, so Darius was actually like, he moved to Red Larch, which is the town they grew up in. Like when so half elf, they age slower. He was like the equivalent of, if he was a human, like he would look like he was in like his 13 or 14. He was in his 20s, like his early 20s. But he looked like a little baby. And so Verity and Willow were like the two that he met first, because those two were the ones who lived there at the time. And so he like met them casually and didn't really talk to them very much. And then at some point they were like buying books off of a cart, and they were like, the two of them used to read like the equivalent of what's the word, Regency romance novels.
Yes.
Together, and they had like a little book club where they would like read them together and just like swoon. Right. It was like, oh, it's so romantic. I love knights. I did.
I was gonna say that it was gonna be like a fantasy version of Jane Austen, but then I realized this is fantasy. We can just put Jane Austen in there, and Jane Austen's so cool that why not? So there's just Jane Austen in our universe now.
But yeah, and so he was like standing near them looking at like academic texts on this book cart, and he overheard them like talking about their cool like romance novels that they saved up money to buy, and he was like, whatever. And then Willow got on his ass. It was like, don't knock it till you try it. I bet if you actually read these with us, you'd like them. And he, not one to back down from a challenge, said, bet. And then he ended up just fast forwarding. He was he became an official member of their book club that met like a couple times a week, and just like Willow would read the books out loud while the other two like worked on other things.
And like, of course, Darius is always talking about how they're mechanically as stories and novels from an academic standard, they're actually very good and well written from this particular author in various versions. And they're like, oh wow. And he's like, this is the only way I can get through them. And they're like, uh-huh. Then why do you ship these two? And then he's like, no.
He's like, why? Would Sir Flarvenfluven have chosen Lady Etiquette? When the clearly superior option was right there. And he gets very into it, and the other two is like, sure, Darius. You're not invested at all. And then he like starts borrowing the earlier books in the series so he can analyze them. It's just because he wants to know what happened.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you can tell how her writing is not as distinct here. And whenever this thing happens with this person, which is what I was focusing on.
Sure, Darius.
For mechanical reasons.
Sure. Yeah, so they just have a cute little book club, and it's, my heart does a little pitter patter for my babies. My babies! They're just so cute! Would they have been reading The Adventures of Emery Black? So I actually asked Jay about this, and I think Emery would have been before their time. Probably.
No, after.
Or after their time, yeah.
Yeah. The Adventures of Emery Black were more of a newer age little novella. And Darius, if Darius had deigned to read them, and actually I think he probably did when they started coming out, because he was still alive.
Oh.
And no one else was. And I think he was like,
to remind him of his friends who were dead. No.
Yes, exactly. And I think he would probably just be like alone reading them in his study going, this is trash.
And then Willow's ghost just like kicks his chair. Ugh, my babies.
Oh, Ivy, you may not have to wonder, they're in the same universe and have been in Waterdeep at the exact same time.
Have they? When was that?
Yep. The fight against the timeshare Amelia.
Oh, that was very brief.
It was extremely brief, but you were both in Waterdeep at the same time.
But yes, the two tiefling girlies do coexist in the same universe at the same time. Like, their stories are running convergently. That's
right.
And so occasionally
a couple of stories are actually. Yeah.
We get to we get to make references to the other campaign, and then Star just starts biting. Oh, as part of my big computer fart earlier, VectorBot is down, so I'm gonna read this one. Hey Star, just wanted to say I came back from reading the newest pages. What the fuck? Also, unrelated question, but do you ever have certain voice actors in mind when thinking about your characters' voices? First of all, Chempignon, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. I don't know if I pronounced your name right. But thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. In response to the what the fuck, don't know what to tell you. Storytelling, am I right? Sometimes you gotta break a few eggs.
You don't get to
By
yell
eggs,
at me.
I mean nice blonde boys. Anyway. As for the voice actor question, it's hard because I do kind of for a couple of characters, but not for everybody. I actually did a couple of shorts about this a while back. They were my like Q&A shorts, where I talked about like character actors. It's hard to remember them off the top of my head though. Laura Bailey as Ariana has been on the list for a while though, so.
She's got a pretty good voice when she wants to play an angry character.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like her
But
work
yes.
as Jaina Proudmoore is just so good.
But yes, more sad wizard talk. But yeah, so it's fun in the current campaign right now, and actually what kind of launched me into this whole thing of, like I said, the characters from Red Larch, like the old Verity Party, I originally hadn't developed them too much in my brain. But then it turns out that Darius is still kind of sort of alive, and then that was like the trigger that like blasted me back into like, wait, no, I have 4 new children I have to develop.
So remember when I told you way back when you guys were in like Tribor that that Akveda wasn't actually like Verity's story. That wasn't like, she wasn't Verity's story. Akveda's Vale's story, right? And you were like, but why? How? And I was like, there's a man sitting for you in Red Larch who would love to answer that question.
How hard was it to keep that secret?
Oh, it was so rough. Oh my god. But as you can tell, it paid off very well.
Yes. And now they're all going to be brought back as unzombies. We're not doing the unzombie shit, damn it. It's so dumb.
Why though?
Jay, tell them what you've done. Tell the chat what you've done.
Did I not already? Did I not discuss with chat the one shot I pulled? Yeah, okay. So
I don't know if you did on stream.
There was a night with one of my paid game slots where we didn't have all the players around. And so what I did is I decided I was going to make a one shot real quick. And I had this idea floating in my head for like a story tie-in to the main story. I always have all these little threads kicking around that I can tie back to my main story to make all my players more interested in everything I do. So I was like, okay, this is a good opportunity. Why don't I use this? Everyone gets to play these characters. And then I was like, okay, we need like another character. Who would be around at this time? Mira would be around. Oh, but if I played Mira as an NPC, Star would freaking kill me. I was like, okay.
I would have.
So I went and I made up a story. And it started off literally with Mira and the Shields of Verity have been investigating a series of murders up and down the coast. And I was like, wait a second. Delete. Unmurders.
And he just thinks he's so fucking clever.
It's just so funny.
He thinks this is the funniest shit he's ever done.
These group of unnecromancers wandering up the coast, unmurdering people and holding them into hordes of unzombies. Yes, abuela. Gracias, me gusta. And so the idea is not to specifically imbue things by bringing them back from the dead with necromancy. No. You see, we're using a related but similar. We're not bringing people back from the dead. We are unmurdering them.
A secret second thing.
That's right. And so they're not exactly all the way back. They're kind of coming back a bit wrong. Nobody's really dug into how to perfect the technique, but it's certainly less abhorrent to the nature of things, obviously, because people didn't come back gross and decaying and exuding necromantic energy, which is supposed to be unnatural. No, this seems like a fairly interesting way to do the same process, but naturally, quote unquote. And exactly, nobody's perfected it yet. Good thing we have the forbidden Baja Blast.
No!
Take a big heckin' sip.
No! It's so gross when you talk about it like that. For those who do not know, because of the way that Verity, my little purple baby, was brought back from the dead, she is basically just like made out of life magic now, including her blood, which like has healing properties, which we have, of course, because of the color of it. We have been calling it the Forbidden Baja Blast, is Verity's blood. And so apparently now that Zoe's character Annie is just like getting all up into the unnecromancy shit. He's like, hey Verity, can I just like have some more of your blood just like whenever? Like, hey, what? What?
Annie comes back and he's all fucking vampiric. Please.
It's for science.
I need your blood.
Sure it is.
Zoe is deeply offended.
We had like a whole conversation about this last night and it was very funny. If a vampire drinks the blood, do they become an unvampire? Great question.
First
Jay?
of all, I cannot even be obtuse here, of course, because it would be funny.
Oh god. Should have known.
Unvampire.
I mean, we've got another character who's
Yeah,
currently...
called Unpire if you nasty. He wears a striped shirt.
Gets
Stands
really
behind
into
the plate at
baseball.
all times. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Stupid.
So dumb.
And he's just so proud of himself, chat.
I am, chat. I'm so proud of myself.
He thinks he's the
would
funniest man
be
to ever walk
too
the
if you
earth.
thought of this too. Oh god. Yeah, exactly. Unvampires do the opposite. They put blood back into people.
Oh, like a mosquito.
It's like a reverse mosquito.
Well, mosquito, the reason why you get itchy after a mosquito bite is because they
Vomit a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, is gross. Hi, Molly. She's in my lap now.
It's unblood. See, Unpires manufacture more Verity blood. That's what we gotta do. We gotta find a vampire, make him into an Unpire, and then use him to... Dave! That's Dave's future. You didn't know. Surprise!
Oh no! The plan. This has been here all along.
Poor Dave. One day Dave will have his body back and he will be mighty. No one will be able to stop him.
But then he can't be. Then he can't be Lapis's little pet that she keeps in a cage on her hip.
I mean, you say that, but he can turn into a bat.
And then he can be a little birdcage body. Could he do that now, or is he still like too weak for that?
You don't really know the extent of Dave.
Well, he certainly hasn't tried.
That's true.
So I'm willing to bet that that is the extent of Dave, actually. I feel like if he could have turned into a bat this whole time, he would have done so already. We've had him around for a while.
That's fair. He only just started being able to levitate.
Yep.
Got some tasty fey blood.
Take a fucking sip,
Take a-
babes.
And he did. He took a sip. A little sip. Who is Dave? Someone here does not know who Dave is?
Oh, you must be new here.
Let me tell you about Dave.
Here, tell the people about Dave while I go incognito for a moment. And by incognito, I mean to the bathroom. Away.
She must secretly away to become mysterious and in the washroom. So yes, Dave. Dave is probably my greatest mistake and also my most brilliant success. I thought it'd be funny to give the party a little guy to run across, and I made him pathetic, and he was a loser, and it was supposed to be just like a little funny hee-haw joke that while they were out, they found the tomb of this vampire who had been turned into a vampire as a joke, and it was because he was such a horrible loser and like just a terrible person. But then, unfortunately, for me, the party adopted this Dave. And then fortunately for me, they adopted him so hard that I was able to make him into a plot point, and now he has things he is doing, and I can dangle him and his precious life.
No!
Yes.
No.
And I do. I do
be nice to
indeed.
Dave.
Never shall I be nice to Dave.
No, but he's your boy, though.
Mm-hmm. He is my boy, and my boy shall be destroyed, probably.
No!
Who could say?
We love Dave.
We do love Dave in this house, don't we, folks? You better all love Dave, lest Dave be destroyed.
I'll destroy you. How does that make you feel?
I mean... I see. Oh. There's so much Dave will die. Dave might not be able to die. We're not sure. Who could say?
You have to do the voice, though.
Dave? Dave's voice? Imagine Skeletor, but shittier.
Shitator.
Absolutely. Who could say what happens in the mind of Dave?
What was the name he tried to tell us his name was first? It was like Terrablor or something.
Yeah, it was like Terrablor.
The most mightiest vampire.
The mighty vampire Terrablor. Good lord, you couldn't even understand the things that could happen with Terrablor.
Dave, why do you keep calling yourself that?
It's mighty.
Is it?
Yes.
I don't know about that one.
Are you not frightened by Terrablor?
It kind of sounds like something that like a child would come up with. I feel like.
But I'm not a child. I'm Dave.
I
I mean
know.
Terrablor.
This is Lapis talk, and this is what this is just what their banter sounds like.
It's true.
It's like, Dave, are you sure about that, buddy?
Yes.
God, don't you love it when the characters that you're drawing don't have fucking mega complicated outfits and you can bust through the inks in like not very much time? I love it. I love it so much when that happens.
My poor friend is so sad.
I just keep coming up with blorbos with complicated outfits that I can't draw them fast enough to take this dress off my plate. But I was a smart cookie this time, and I pre-planned my color schemes for both these outfits so that I won't be struggle-linating live on stream. I'm very professional and good at my job. I swear.
I believe you.
So Jay, how's that new YouTube content coming along?
Oh my god. It's gotta be shorts, right? It's gotta be for shorts.
Yeah. That'd probably be easiest.
It would draw the most people in. We wouldn't get paid for it, but
And it attracts the audience, and then we can do just like 5 or 10 minute thing. You warm yourself up into it, you know?
Perhaps.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Chat, help me bully him.
Chat no, please. Chat no. Honor the
Chat,
giant
bully
gift.
him. I know you love
Chat,
bullying
no.
people. You do it to me all the time.
They're coming from me.
Yep. Wizards have 2 looks, simple and basic, plus all the baubles. I mean, this is going to be like kind of somewhere in the middle because I am going to do like some embroidery and shit on him. But I downloaded some Clip Studio brushes so that I don't have to do it myself because I ain't got time for that today.
Oh my god, they're bullying me. They're bullying me in the comments.
Yes, good. They're doing as I told them to.
Do I know about battle and war horses? Of course I do. Who do you think I am?
Oh, good lord. Jared, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Goodness gracious.
Jared. Oh no. I know. It would be very useful. Listen, I have a lot of time coming up, time off coming up, which means, of course, I can definitely spend that working.
Become one with your inner star and spend your holidays working on different things.
Yes, that's right. Listen.
Aha!
Speaking of, pardon me. Wow, it just left my brain. Speaking of war horses, though, how's Horsune Miku doing?
Horsune Miku, my beloved! She's not summoned right now, so I don't know what she's doing. Do spectral seeds do something when they're not summoned? Verity has a horse, by the way.
You are summoning a celestial creature, right?
Yeah. Her name is Opal, but we have been jokingly calling her Horsune Miku because she is kind of sort of a hologram. I will at some point draw Horsune Miku, but for right now, I am drawing a bitchy wizard. What color should his eyes be? I've thought about it a little bit. I almost feel like the hair color is easy to change. I'm wondering if the eye color isn't. And so for those who are unaware, Darius is not a natural blonde. He is a bottle blonde bitch. Because he dyes his hair because he wants to look more elvish than he actually is, because he's only a half elf and he's got a complex about it. Poor guy.
Yes. Upsetting.
And so he
really.
dyes his hair. But I'm thinking that maybe his eye color is not as easy to change. Because like he naturally has brown hair and maybe like just like cute little brown eyes too. I don't know. I think
Cute
it kind of
eyes.
is an interesting combo.
Brown eyes. I was talking earlier today, and I was telling Star that probably it's more funny that if he is upsettingly hot when he doesn't do all the elvish stuff. He doesn't think so, obviously, but I'm talking like Jensen Ackles from Supernatural hot, you know. Like he's got like the perfect amount of stubble. His hair is more. His voice is more gravelly when he doesn't like put it up into a more refined elvish brogue, and his hair is like a wavy brown, like.
And we were just like, what the fuck? You've been hot this whole time?
Makes me very pleased. It's so funny. Yeah. They're totally the worst for each other.
Yep. You ever just know that couple and they make each other worse and it's funny? That's them.
It's
them.
them.
I should show people the finished Mira and Rodin because I finished them off screen.
Oh, you're right.
Off camera. I finished them. So there's Rodin all colored and pretty. Look at him. Like, got the kind of slightly bluish green going on. And then Mira, my beloved, she's gonna kick your ass. I love.
You ever make a blorbo for your friend and it just takes over her whole life?
Yes. I love them. They're my children now.
Yeah.
My babies.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. Don't look at me. I'm thinking about my blorbos.
Don't look, I'm thinking of blorbo thoughts.
It's blorbo hours. But yeah, so I have a couple of different layers here. That's the sketch. Okay, so there's that one and this one. So first of all, no, that's not correct. Where's the, so when I was doing like my original like color blocking sketches, oh, I could have done this in an easier way, but whatever. So when I was doing my original sketch for Darius, you know, because we've been talking about like these characters and stuff, and these are in the wrong order, kind of, sort of. There. So we were thinking, it's like, okay, blonde hair because he dyes it, but then maybe like at some point he starts dyeing it black instead, because I am a black-haired Darius truther personally. I think boy looks hot. I think he looks very good with the dark hair. And then I'm thinking like this color for his natural hair, just kind of like brown, undescript brown, and he hates it. So I might do two versions of the final piece, with one with the blonde hair, the bitchy blonde hair of his youth, and then one with the dark hair that he starts doing instead.
Yeah. Man, especially by the time he finally decides to just do what Mira said to do and be himself, essentially. He'd also be going gray a little bit, which would be... Man.
Yeah.
You ever just think about hot elves?
Yeah. All the time, Jay! Constantly! What kind of question is that? What kind of question is that?
You know what's funny? I'm gonna have like at least an entire sketchbook page of hot Darius later on tonight, probably, and then at some point she's gonna do like a full illustration just like this of just like hot older Darius.
Shut up. Listen, I'm already sneaking him into the D&D video, and y'all didn't hear that from me. Wink. Technically, maybe, perhaps, you can already see him. Maybe. Because, you know, if you have a Flips Hair, if you have a channel membership, or if you're on my Patreon, I have posted a handful of sneaky peeks of the upcoming Dungeons and Dragons video that I've been working on for 8 months.
Say that again with a little more gusto.
8 months! And I was hoping to have done by the end of the year, but that's not fucking happening. Not with what my schedule looks like right now. I'm hoping it will take me less than a year to finish. But yeah, so, you know, maybe if you, you know, go do a little bit of digging, find these supposed sneaky peeks that I may have hypothetically posted for Patreons and channel members, then you might be able to see a sneakity peekity at
this is the technical terminology.
Darius.
You understand? Yeah, you
what?
understand. Sneakity peekity is the technical term.
Yes.
They need
Very
to understand this. It's very important. Yeah.
I have to run, but I'll send you all my bitchy wizard energy in the meantime. Thank you for your energy, Zoe, and thank you, Jared, for 20 gifted memberships. I should have seen that one coming. I said the word. I said the word. I said it. I invited the chaos into my home.
You did.
Into my stream.
You did.
If you just got gifted a membership, make sure to say thank you.
Make sure to say thank you for Jared.
Peace. But yes, thank you as always, Jared. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Wowie zowie. So let me ask you something, Jay, because you've done the Darius voice like in our sessions before. Like,
Yeah.
is it? How would you describe his accent? Like, what?
It's a super light British. It's like what I call fantasy British, because it doesn't actually like have an origin. It's not a, it's just a hello, I am this big wizard man boy thing, and I wish to be more than, I wish to be a real boy, a real elf boy. And then Mira goes, a real hot elf boy, and he goes, oh, Mitter one, please.
Real hot elf boy, and he's just like, oh god.
Please, Mitter one. I'm trying to be atmospheric. But yeah, that's the other big issue. Is that he's putting on an accent, like he's trying to sound like he belongs. And so it is just acceptable, but I wanted to make sure it sounded a little fake, because he's not, sad boy, sad hot boy.
He just wants to fit in with these people who will never accept him, and it's so fucking sad. Ugh, my poor boy.
They never do. They never accept him, not in his whole life. I think, especially after Mira dies, he like gets really angry about it.
Oh. No.
Yeah.
Well,
It is
like I
a
said,
little upsetting.
like we've joked about, at some point, Mira will meet these people from his past, and she will pile drive one of them into a fancy dining table. And they will get kicked out of the function.
Yeah. And he'd be like, Mita one, and she's like, what? And he's like,
what? You just said he was one of the punks who bullied you. You thought I wasn't gonna?
cloakroom, 2 minutes.
Fine. And then they just furiously make out.
Yes.
Oh god. Wait, Mira died. I literally just met her. Oh, Seven, we've got some catching up to do.
Yeah, I apologize, my friend. There's issues going on here.
So these are all characters from Verity's backstory, aka the backstory of 200 years ago. 2 of them were humans. One was a half-elf, points, and one was a dwarf. Only one of them is still alive in canon, and it's not the humans.
Yeah, it is a little upsetting.
Darius did outlive his human friends, but he did not outlive the dwarven friend. Friend in air quotes. These two do not get along. I bet you boys.
They do not get along, no.
Listen, Mira lives on in my heart. Oh, she lives on in all of our hearts. We love Mira. She is a piece of work, and she's so much fun. You ever come up with a character who is just, like, canonically the worst, but they're just so fucking fun? They're like, let's go. She's like the
so
let's go to
pleased.
Taco Bell at 4 a.m. friend, but, like, way worse.
It's true.
And she married the academic honor student nerd.
The one who keeps correcting her, I will point out.
What was the one we did yesterday? We were like just farting around in voice chat and like brainstorming like interactions between the characters. What was the thing where it's like he was like threatening her like with something that was not supposed to be fun, and then she was like, "Oh yeah? What about that though?" And he's like, "No, not in a sexy way," and she tracks him off.
God, I can't remember now.
I don't remember the context. It was gonna drive me crazy because it was very funny.
It was
Damn it.
very funny. I do like your she yelling at him from like across a campus about how hot he is.
Hey,
What
hey,
that
hot
ass
boy,
do?
what that butt do? And he's just like, Mira.
Side of the line, hot boy.
And he's like teaching new recruits, and she just interrupts him from across the training ground. He's like, "What's up, hot boy? What that butt do?" And he's just like, "I am trying to maintain an atmosphere of dignity in front of the students." And she's like, "Why would you do that?"
Middle one, please.
Please what?
Will make you go away. Will you go away if I say it?
Yeah. It's like, they just torment each other, and it's so fucking funny.
Because the other side of it too is that he is just always correct, and it bothers Mira so much.
It's like he's got this fucking huge brainiac head, and so he is generally right about things, and it drives her crazy.
So pleased.
So she gets her revenge in her own way, which is calling him hot boy and yelling "what that butt do" from across the training grounds and embarrassing himself and embarrassing him in front of the new recruits.
It jiggle jiggle.
Yeah. And she slaps him on the ass and gets back to work. Have we talked about how, like, they were, you know, having fun times together for, like, several months before he asked if she wanted to go steady or, like, go out? He's like,
exactly. Yeah, I don't think we've said it on channel before, but obviously Elf Society is very loose on that sort of stuff. They're not prudes about sexual encounters with friends and stuff like that. And so he was just like, yeah, this is just what friends do. Like, yeah, we're obviously attracted to each other and we're friends, so of course we would. Why wouldn't we? But you know, maybe this is gonna be more than that, so maybe I should ask her. And then she was just, what do you mean? Because
like,
she's
what
a
do you
human.
think we've been doing for 3 months? And she will never let him live it down. They're so fucking, they're just so, you know? They're just so. You don't need an adjective.
You don't sleep with your homies as a treat. Yes, you do. First of all, if you're into that sort of thing, your friends are into that sort of thing, don't let society tell you no. Just have fun. Have fun with the homies every once in a while, everybody. As a treat. But also, if you actually feel for somebody, talk to them.
Yes, Darius. Goddamn, boy.
Perhaps it is time to admit that I like this human.
How would you feel about potentially dating? And Merritt's just like, what the
would
fuck?
you perhaps like to engage in a more contracted arrangement where we
use smaller words? Why are you talking funny?
You see, the attraction has grown at a scale and pace that I was not expecting, and it would seem to be untoward if we were to continue without me at least asking if you wish for a more intimate relationship.
Huh?
And then Willow like pops her head around the corner. Darius, are you asking her out? Oh, that's so cute. I thought you two were already porking though.
That's absolutely the word she would use too.
Yeah, 100%. I love Willow is just this gremlin in my head.
Yep. And then Mira finally gets it and she's like, wait, what the fuck do you think that we've been doing for 3 months? And he's like, just casual hangouts with the homies? And he's like, and she's like, bro.
But I had not yet engaged in formal courtship rituals. I'm supposed to compose you a sonnet and then sing it to you under the moonlight of the 3rd moon of the month.
Darius, that's cringe.
He's got his fucking boombox above his head. What do you mean?
No! Oh my fucking god. See, this is why these characters are so much fun. You just think of like the most, okay, the comparison I made was like, okay, if Verity had not beefed it and died, immediately, because you know, like she and Rodin were dating around like when they were young, and so
Yeah.
if she hadn't died, then these two couples would have coexisted simultaneously, and the contrast there is so funny because
It's amazing.
on the one hand, you have Verity and Rodin, who are just like these very like sweet, but also like very ace vibes with both of them, where it's just like they're just very sweet, they're very shy about each other, they're like a little bit awkward, and it's just like they make little presents for each other and then they run away blushing, and it's just like just little cutesy things. They like are shy about holding hands unless nobody else is around, and it's just cute and sweet. And then on the opposite end of the courtyard, you have Darius and Mira, who are just constantly screwing with each other. Yelling across the field, "Hey boy, what'd that butt do?" And Darius just being a snob asshole.
Yes. God, I love it so much.
And then Willow just doing Willow business.
Yeah, Willow just does what she wants in the background. That's all she does.
Yep. R.I.P. Willow Amberlight, you would have loved Chapel Roan.
Oh my god.
I listen to Phenomenon and I think about her.
Uh-huh.
She just wants to be a princess so bad, but like a cool princess, though.
Right. Good luck, babe.
Oh, I love her so much. I'm drawing her next.
and screwing each other. Yes. Yes. Two very hypersexual people.
Yup.
Although, again, as per usual, Darius is attempting to be a proper elf, and so while being hypersexual, he just was very repressed. Which means Mira was very good for him in a lot of different ways, and she was very bad for him in a lot of others.
That boy is down bad.
Yes, absolutely.
He's down so bad, and it drives him crazy. Like, sweet boy. What was the line that I said the other day? Is like something about him, like, I don't even know if I want to say it on stream. Something about it's like, Darius, no, you can't be this much of a bottom. The fangirls are gonna go crazy for you.
Right. But to be fair and balanced, all wizards are bratty subs. So.
Oh shit! Wait until after Zoe leaves to say that.
She already knows. I definitely told it directly to her face once or twice.
It's true. Anyway, we have fun with these dorks. They're very fun to write. I just want to make like a billion like dumb little comics of just like these characters interacting, cause they're so funny.
They're very fun.
And they're all dead and I'm mad about it. It's like, god damn it, we fridged the Blorvos. Although I guess technically Verity was the one who got fridged. But she's okay now, so it's fine.
That's true, yeah.
What's stopping you, Star? I will direct you to my schedule and my to-do list, which is a mile long.
Yeah.
And I cry about
Upsetting.
it. I really, really, really want to get the actual like D&D video done, because that will provide a starting point of understanding a lot of the lore with these characters. And then from there, I can just fuck around and do whatever I want. I might, like, the future of what happens with the later parts of the story the D&D video is going to depend on how much I want myself to suffer. Because, like, I would love to do the entire thing as a series of videos, but it's taken me almost a year to do part 1. So...
yeah.
I may have to find a simpler solution for further lore dumps. I don't
know, maybe some shorts or maybe like little 5-minute snippets, you know? Hey, this chapter, this chapter, this chapter.
Maybe. The fandom, thank you for the super chat. When are we getting more weapon historytism? I don't know. I've been trying to hold him back a little bit. It's my stream, damn it.
It is. It's your stream, and I feel bad. I feel so bad.
You mostly feel bad because
me,
I teased
please.
you relentlessly afterwards.
That is true. That is very true.
I don't think you would actually feel bad if I hadn't done that.
No, well, I mean, I would. No, I would feel bad. I would. Yeah. I would feel bad. Yeah. It's your stream. You didn't come here for Jay talking about stuff hours.
Yeah, well, the chat wants it apparently, because they keep saying.
Listen. You can do it in small bursts. How's that sound, chat?
My thing is, like, on the one hand, you know, I could just write it. I could just make it like prose. I could just, you know, occasionally release like what would basically be the script.
Yeah.
And just be like, here it is. But the videos, and like, I could even illustrate that. Like, you know, I could put in some illustrations along with it, and that would be relatively simple, and I could do that pretty quickly, and that would not be a major out thing. That would not be like a major, you know, honestly, what I just thought of that might work.
Yeah.
What if I do both? What if I release the text version well in advance? Like, I release the text version with with like very, very like lightly illustrated like text versions.
Yeah.
And then when I have time, we do video versions. And then I can add in like music and sound effects and soundscaping and all that fun shit that I love doing with the video version.
See.
Maybe that's the happy medium. Because then even if I don't end up having time to do more video parts, at least then it's out there and there's nothing saying that they have to be mutually exclusive of each other. I think chat may have just rubber ducked me into the problem or into the solution. So honestly, that would work. It takes some of the pressure off because people can just read it, and then I'm not like rushing to get the videos done just so people can understand the lore. Oh, I think that actually might work. See, this is why I like streaming. I can bounce ideas off people real time.
Right. Yeah.
I just have to figure out where I'm gonna host it.
Good
figure it out.
question. Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
We'll find a way. Always do.
Find a way. At bare minimum, though, I really want part 1 to exist. Because that's my baby girl.
Yes.
And that, like, first arc of the campaign was so fucking cool. Like, all the intrigue and shit with Akveda happening. It was like, it was so cool.
I am very glad.
Bite, bite, bite.
Because, like, it is not easy to get that sort of intrigue and keep it, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, now it's embroidery hours.
Especially with, when is Jake going to read cast off? I read cast off. Okay.
Do you?
Sometimes.
Mm-hmm. How far have you read?
Well, I knew about what was happening before it dropped. So if anything, I think I'm ahead.
because you're in spoiler chat, just like all the other folks.
I think if you want to argue things, I think I have read the entirety of Cast Off. Thank you very much.
He does know a lot of spoilers.
Thank you. And I can be
when are you gonna read the rest, though? Also, Green Holly, thank you for the super chat.
I should read the rest. I really should. You're not wrong. But like I said, I have some time off coming up, so who could say? Oh my goodness.
I downloaded a bunch of like embroidery-ish. Okay, this one changes the size. Good. So that I did not have to hand draw bitchy elven embroidery. I ain't got time for that shit.
I suppose not.
So I just got these off the asset store this morning. And no one is allowed to judge me.
He would absolutely have embroidery.
Well, yeah, he's a fancy boy. A fancy boy with a fancy ass. According to Mira, depending on who you're talking to.
Dad, he does. I think, honestly, too, another thing that probably frustrates her about Darius so much is that he actually is fairly good with like a scimitar or a rapier or something.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, why don't you should spar me more? It's fun. And he's like, no, I prefer to read, not get all sweaty. And she's like, oh God.
It's like, you're so frustrating.
Right. It would be so hot if you just beat me in a sword fight. you're refusing to do that.
He's just like, why would I do that? I have better things to do with my time. She's just like, well, Rodin's not here anymore. Willow doesn't spar, period.
Poor angry girl. She just needs someone to fight in like a hot way.
Wants to beat people up for bonding purposes.
Yeah.
Best way to get to know somebody is to beat their ass. I love them. I know I keep saying it, but my God.
This is so shitty.
They're perfect for each other. They're actually horrible for each other, but shh, it's funny.
It is very funny.
Yes. Oh my. Rose, no. Rose, no. Not like that. Well, I guess actually Mira would probably think of it like that.
Yes.
Like, you know, more ways than one. I've met so many amazing people through fighting and beating them up. Yes, exactly. See?
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely do.
Well, yeah, because you sword man.
Yep. I do sword man.
Yeah.
I sword man.
He sword man.
I man sword.
Wow. Tell me more about that.
Wow. Oh no.
It's like a werewolf at the full moon. He's like, oh no.
Get away from me. I'm transforming.
Oh,
Oh, how did this sword get in my hand?
it's happening.
Type 14 oak shot.
Jesus Christ.
That's a very funny joke if you're a swords person. You should laugh. You should all laugh.
Mm-hmm. Jesus Christ.
Let's see here. What does the chat say?
What does the chat say?
No, you can't. You missed your chance the other day. You don't get to invoke it now.
Oh, shut up. We were having a legitimate conversation about wildlife, and you had to go in and be like, oh, excuse me, I'm disappointed that none of you referenced what the fox say. Like, oh, so sorry, Meme Lord Supreme, for disappointing.
Yeah, it was disappointing. It was just a disappointing thing all around.
Uh-huh, you know what else is disappointing?
Darius?
Just gonna let that hang and see what happens.
The portrayal of swords in media.
There he is!
Bitter one, please.
Oh god, he turned into Darius for a second there. I didn't even summon him that time.
Oh my goodness. You lift weights? Hell yeah, Discordia. Absolutely. Honestly, doing anything at all, even body weight exercises is a very good way to keep yourself spry. Trust me, I wish I had done it when I was younger, and I did not, and now I feel it's bad. It's bad, everybody. So yeah, anything you can do. It's a good idea.
I like to take walks around my very hilly neighborhood, but it's getting late enough in the year now that when my stream ends, it's dark out and I can't really do it anymore. Like, damn it. I can do it on days when I'm not streaming.
And
but...
oh man, I remember you were talking the other day when you were talking about your journaling thing about how frustrating it is for those people to have been right and journaling is very good.
Yes.
And it's the same thing with like walking or just sitting outside for a couple of minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Or even just like doing some stretches every once in a while you're sitting at your, like, if you've been sitting on a chair, just getting up and stretching a little bit. It is frustrating how good it is. And like taking it further, when I had to do when I busted my back, I was 28 and I busted my back really badly. And part of my physio was going to an Olympic weight trainer and saying, okay, well, the doctor thinks that I should do like squats and oh god, no, why deadlifts, squats and deadlifts, because those are very good for your core. And he was like, okay, so let's do it. And the problem, folks, and I hate it, weightlifting was so fucking fun. It made me feel so good about myself. I think it also helped that I went to a gym that was specifically made to be like a safe place for like women and queer folk and nerds. And so like everyone in there was really friendly, and like they were all like, we were joking about, we were making like Dragon Ball Z jokes and fucking anime jokes and all this other stuff while we were busy weightlifting and stuff like that. And it was so good. It was so good. I caused it because you don't think you could lift one. You absolutely could. Swords are very light, very, very light. I bet you could lift a great sword, no problem. They're only about 3 pounds.
I have my skinny little artist arms. I haven't worked out really since high school, and I didn't really have any issues with the longsword he was showing me.
Yeah,
when I went up to visit.
It doesn't mean anything.
Hey Jay, how much does sword weigh?
A long sword. Yes, a long sword weighs about 2 pounds. It's not very heavy at all.
Okay, but how much a hen weigh? About 2 pounds.
About 2 pounds. So that means if you could lift a chicken, you can lift a sword. Yeah. And like I said, great swords are only about 3 to 5 pounds. Like they're not, and they're balanced. That's the important part. They're super balanced.
Great.
Yeah.
Sword
stuff. Yeah. Listen, if people start asking me questions, I'm slowly revving up. Yes.
Do you get it?
I get it.
Wow.
Listen.
Yay.
Wild. I think you should give Liam a great sword. That'd be very funny.
What?
It's perfect.
I mean, he is a great little guy.
Yeah. Also, great swords are specifically used to keep people at bay instead of actually fighting them. So it's perfect.
It's the go-away stick.
It's the go-away stick, yeah.
Listen, I'll think about it. I don't know how much we're actually going to see Liam in combat, though.
It just makes so much sense to me. If he got into combat at all, he'd be like, nope, get away, stay this far away at the very least.
Stay over there.
Terry Wood, thank you for asking what's that improper weight measurement. A long sword is roughly like I'll say 1.3 kilograms. And like a great sword is like 2 point something kilograms typically. So like, yeah. Kali or Eskrima? I don't know much about Kali. I have fenced somebody who used Eskrima before. For those of you who don't know, Eskrima is it's a martial art that's based primarily around learning how to fight with machete. And so they usually use sticks. You usually see them using 2 sticks instead of 2 machete. But yeah, it's a good fighting style for the most part. It's very energetic, very highly mobile. It is not very defensive from what I have seen, and I want to put that in context here because it's from what I've seen. I don't want to say that like I know everything about Eskrima just because I fenced a guy who used it once. I just know that, of course, as soon as you start using swords like long swords against something like that, that poor dude didn't have much of a chance. Because my sword is like the height of the person, so I can poke you from like 3 states away. And you know, there's not much that Eskrima has that can answer to that. It's meant for like ambushing somebody really quick or defending yourself against somebody who is also using machete. So
here,
you know,
just for a sec. Flippitu, thank you for joining the memberships. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Starlings, more Starlings for everyone.
Yee. Sorry, you can go back to talking about swords. I just didn't want that to disappear before I commented on it.
Yeah. No, it's okay. You should absolutely pause me whenever you want. Just bap the top of my head like I'm an alarm.
Bap.
Yes, most of the damage is indeed done with the tip of the sword. The last third or so of the sword has to do with the physics of a weapon like that. Typically, I think I showed this to Star when I showed you, but if you whap the pommel of a sword really quick while you're holding it, you'll see that the blade will start to wobble, and the parts that there are 2 parts specifically where a metal stick does not wobble. One should be in the handle of the sword, so you shouldn't see it, but it's what makes it more comfortable for you to hold it instead of like vibrating out of your hand painfully whenever you hit something. And the other should be at the percussive point about 1/3 of the way down from the tip. And that should be where you strike, because again, it not wobbling means that all of the concentrated force you're going to put into this stick is going to go into that point, and it'll always hurt more to go there. It's always more effective to use that particular part of the edge. Doesn't hinder speed. Discordia, I mean, if you really want a bit of range while not hindering speed, try to go for one of the later period swords. Go for a small sword or a side sword, something with a complex hilt that wraps around your hand. You can hold it way out in front of you. It's very light. It's a cutting and thrusting sword. You can be very defensive with it if you want to be. They're good swords. I'm a like an early medievalist snob. So like I'm like, anything that protects my hands with a complex hilt is cheating. I don't want that.
Verity would like to have some words with you.
Oh, absolutely. Verity's using a rapier, and not like a medieval rapier. She's using like a late period rapier as well. So
she's got a rapier that protects her hands, and she's wearing full plate armor, and she's got a big ass shield. Baby does not want to get hit, and yet she did get hit real bad once.
She did, yeah. I mean, to be fair, a rapier is not a rapier is a defensive tool against other weaponry. It is not very good against a marauding beast, for example. If you were hunting monsters or beasts of any sort, swords are a really bad idea. Like a stupendously bad idea. Like I said, swords are really bad at killing things. They're pretty good at defending your life against other weaponry, but not against like a claw or a big hand or rocks. Like, they're just not good for that sort of thing, right? When you go hunting, you want something like a spear, typically. I mean, if you can, ranged. Always ranged. Ranged is king.
I'm giving him
Use
some
the
magic.
cross guard of the sword like a hammer. Krabby Man is asking me how... Ooh, magic. Krabby Man is asking how often did Folks and Duels use the cross guard as a hammer? That's called a murder stroke. We don't even really train it because it is a little dangerous. We know how to use the maneuver, but we do it very slowly if we're going to do it at all. The whole point of it is that you can use almost every part of the sword as a weapon. It's as a bludgeon, and again, while it might be the more effective thing to use against someone in armor, it's not effective in that you basically use up holding the sword in that way means that you can't defend yourself properly with it. And so it's really like a Hail Mary. It's really like a, hey, I have forced my opponent into this position. I can now use a murder stroke to kind of like bludgeon his helmet, ring his head like a gong, and like attempt to get into a wrestle with him. That's what it's for. It's not like a, hey, I'm going to open with a murder stroke because he'll just stab you. He'll just stand back and thrust at you. So it's not really good, you know? Murder, she stroke. No, don't.
Making puns in my stream. You making puns in my stream?
That wasn't my fault. That was Ivy. You can tell Ivy that's the problem. But also often when you're talking about fencing another person in armor, if you are down to using your sword for that sort of thing, you're just wrestling. That's all it is. Because you can't kill somebody in armor really with a sword. And so you grab it at the midsection of the blade, and you honestly use it like a crowbar. You wrestle with it. You try to get it underneath his arm and push his arm into an armbar position, and then get him somewhere where you could maybe use the tip of it, right? With any luck, you won't have to resort to your dagger, but like if you're already at your sword, something has gone wrong. So, you know, you got to think of swords as sidearms. Right, they're the last resort. If you are down to your sword, something has gone amiss, right?
Nods along like I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, you know, right?
I'm drawing a froofy little wizard over here.
Huh.
I know that.
How dare you, froofy little wizard? Let me tell you something about that froofy wizard.
Okay, tell it to me.
He's froofy.
Yep. Confirmed. Just a little bastard man.
Yeah.
I love him so much. And he lives in Verity's head right now, but it's fine. We're working on it. Oh gosh, we haven't talked about, like, I don't think we've talked have we? On
about Bajra?
like,
no.
If I had a nickel for every agoraphobic wizard who lived in my brain, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice, because one of them is Darius and one of them is this very important person.
Yes.
Who's just in their brain just for shits and giggles now. Verity's like, I already had a wizard in my head, and now there's 2!
And now there's 2!
Now there's 2!
So I have taken, so there is a canon character in D&D, in current 5e lore. And this character, her name is Vajra, Vajra. And she is the Black Staff of Waterdeep. The Black Staff is like this very powerful wizard. Any Black Staff is the holder of a very ceremonial position that is essentially just like the security of Waterdeep. Like the Black Staff is there to do that. They run even a little tiny like security force that is just theirs. And I know I don't have entirely the lore about what the Black Staff really is because I don't really care. I have taken Vajra, and in my world, Vajra is somebody a little bit different. She is an extremely young prodigy, and she is deeply autistic. She's like me before I figured out like how to talk to people, essentially, is what I've turned her into. And it's just very funny. She goes into people's brains all the time and she just talks to them and she goes, oh wait, that's right, I'm not supposed to do that, I have been told. And it just makes me so happy, so deeply happy whenever I get to play her because she's such a sweetheart. And you know, I just want her to succeed. I want her to be exactly whatever she wants to be. She can do whatever she wants. She can do no wrong. Makes me very pleased.
Trying to do some damn dramatic lighting here.
Just like me for real. Yeah, listen. Right. And so now she is also in the party's head because they have now talked to her, which to her gives her implicit permission to do whatever she wants. Yeah, to just be in their brains.
Like, I lent you an orb. So I live here now.
Yeah. Like, you don't understand. I lent
you my
you
orb.
this-
Please respond.
That's right, please.
But yeah, and so when she revealed that, like, yes, she does kind of live in our heads now, Verity was just like, now there's two, and Darius was just like, hello.
Who the hell is this? Occupado.
Like, hey, there's only this brain ain't big enough for the two of us.
It's time to have a wizard duel. He'd lose, incidentally.
Oh.
Yeah, I told you, Vandra's a prodigy. She was a Blackstaff at 19 years old. There's no way.
Jeez Louise. Dramatic ass lighting. Look at this specialist boy.
Mm-hmm.
The specialist boy. And here, just for me, my propaganda.
Do it.
My propaganda. I'm doing it. I'm trying to
Embrace
just get
the
the
hate.
right. I'm doing it. Wow. Hot boy
Hot boy!
with that dark hair. Let's go. Dark hair Darius propaganda. Listen, I may post 2 versions. It's fine.
Give him gray streaks and some stubble.
Later. It's like
Later,
we've
that's
hit the
for
halfway
solo
point.
times.
I have to start working on Willow, or else
Oh,
I'm not
that's
gonna
right.
have time to finish.
That's true. That's true.
Now it's Willow time.
Yeah.
It's Willow hours, my baby. Verity's bestie. And the first to die, aside from Verity. So Willow's a bard. I don't know what
She
instrument she
is.
plays. do you
She
think?
I think she used a lyre for accompaniment as she told stories.
Yeah, I was definitely thinking like a lute or something.
Yeah, like, and it wasn't really about the music necessarily, except that it gave atmosphere. She really is a storyteller. That's the whole point of her, I think.
Yeah. We just gotta have the dramatic background noise.
She did want to be a published author before the accident.
Oh, no! Oh, baby. Oh, no.
Yep. I told you, I'm here to break hearts. I'm here to break hearts.
Ow. You don't have to so hard.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I was kind of leaning away from lyre just from my own personal biases because, like, every bard I play has a lyre.
Okay, well,
But it does make
use whatever
sense
you
for
want.
her, though. So if you're down with
Yeah.
it, I'm like, okay, then it's not just me, and I have an excuse.
Fair. Yeah.
I think she'd have thick eyebrows.
Oh, I see.
Willow's vibe is that she's like a little country girl and she wants to be a Regency princess so fucking bad.
Yeah.
She reads all the romance novels. And she was the one who got Verity into reading as well. Because Verity, like, she did not like school. But then Willow was like, no. Reading is cool. Here, let's read this one together. And now this one. And now this one. And then they just became besties after that, essentially. Willow is the
Yes,
extrovert
very
who
much.
adopted Verity, essentially.
Very much.
Just like, you're cool, we're gonna be friends now.
Imagine the first, like, fucking fade to black sex scene that they read, and Verity's like, I don't understand. Why did they fade to black? And then Willow leans in and they're like, they're barking.
What does that mean? Did they go have dinner?
Oh,
Ask
I'm
me,
gonna
like-
have to explain some things.
And then Verity's dad overhears. He's just like, no.
No, no, my child.
Like, Willow, I think it's time for you to go home.
Mama's not home yet.
I know. Which means that home is across the hall for you right now, but past your bedtime. It's like 6 p.m. Bed.
I should go to bed. Her poor fucking father.
Mr. Noblesse has been through so much.
He has been.
Wife dies shortly after his daughter is born.
Mm-hmm.
Basically
Didn't have any more
adopts
daughters.
one of the village kids. Willow.
Yeah. Oh God, his hate for Mira after the incident probably would have been really shitty.
No. Stop, my heart.
Yeah, you were supposed to protect her, Mira.
We can't be talking like this. We're gonna confuse chat because they don't have all the context.
Mm-hmm.
We should start from the beginning because we've been working on these characters for a bit.
I suppose.
So Willow's whole thing is like, so her dad, I guess, was just like not in the picture really.
Mm-hmm.
But her mom was like this big famous adventurer and she was always off on missions. And so when Willow's mom was away on mission, she would stay with Verity and her dad. And so the two of them basically were sisters. It's like, if Willow's mom was home, she was hanging out with her mom, but she was not home very much. And then, like, when they were in their teens, her mom just went away on a mission and then did not come back.
Nope.
And then Verity's dad is a single father because we never really worked out what happened to the mom, because I guess it doesn't really matter. But I imagine, like, she died shortly after Verity was born of, like, just...
I think there was some complications, yeah. Maybe there was a disease going around and she caught it because she was, like, in her condition.
Disease.
Yeah, anime mom disease, yeah. But yeah, like an infection or something, probably. Like, it was very easy to catch back then, so...
Yeah.
And, like, Red Larch was a tiny town. They didn't exactly have, like, clerics just kicking around with lesser restoration available.
Yeah. Yeah, so Willow, this girl, and Verity were basically sisters. They did everything together. They were basically inseparable from an extremely young age.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like the foundations of the friend group, essentially.
Yeah. Because also, I think, like, Verity's cousins were all, like, way too young. Right? Because her dad had siblings.
Yeah, we never really, like, talked about the Noblesse cousins. It's like, I know they exist, but we never really do anything with them.
Yeah, well, they just took over the... You know, just took over the business, that's all.
Because Verity was supposed to, and then, oops.
Mm-hmm. And then there was suddenly no more from that line. That line ended with your dad, sad and alone. This is what I do, chat.
He just does this to me. Unprovoked, all the time. Just making me sad about Blorbos.
Yep.
And you guys get on my case. He's so much worse, chat. I have only killed one little Blorbo. He's killed thousands.
Yes, I have killed many. For fun. Wow.
The blood is on his hands.
The worst part is I literally cannot be evil if I'm not pretending to be a villain, so...
Yeah, I just love Willow. She's just so baby. She's just very much like the best friend character, but in like the best way.
Yeah. I mean, if chat wants to know how evil I am, remember that time you asked me that thing? Like the hypothetical?
Remember that time you asked me that thing? What a fucking sentence.
There was a hypothetical you asked at one point about Castoff. I'm trying to be vague here a little bit in the hopes that you remember before I say anything.
Comic spoilers.
Yeah, well, it's not really comic spoilers because it's never going to happen, but like, I don't know if you want to... Anyways, my answer, if you recall, was kill the child.
I don't remember the exact context of this.
I think
Was
we were
this
talking
about what
about, you
people
know
were
how,
talking
you
about
know
in the
how,
Discord?
yeah, well, sort of. It
Or-
was, remember how we were talking about like Disneyifying things where like someone has to die at the end of the story, essentially? And you were like posing the hypothetical, hey, if you guys had to do this for cast off, like who would you choose? And I was like, Rory. You guys were like, you're a fucking monster.
Jay just wants to kill my babies. This is just his MO. He just wants to take my little blorbos and run them through the slaughter mill. This is why we cannot trust him, chat.
Yeah. Slay that child. This child needs to die.
No. Listen, I lost sleep last night over killing a side character. You think I'm gonna kill off one of my mains? Without really leading up to it first. I mean, what? What? Oh, look at my water.
See, Chad? See? She does it too. I am not evil. I am not the only one. You see, chat. You see, it's just sometimes you just gotta
Well,
let
listen,
yourself
here's the
be
thing.
a little bit evil.
You have to consider that Verity's backstory originally came from me.
That's right.
I was the one who said kill all her friends. I am not innocent.
That's right. Yeah.
He just torments me.
Right.
But it's weird though, because like you and I have talked about this, that I never like got into roleplay or anything until I started playing D&D with you guys. And so it's like, I never have really had, like, I guess writing partner is a word for it.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I've never had anyone besides me who was like so excited about the characters I came up with that I like knew, right? You know, in recent years, you know, people like read the comic and they really enjoy it, but these are like parasocial relationships more than anything.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, well, now I have someone who, just like me, is really excited about these blorbos because we made them together, and now we torture each other about it with sad thoughts all the time. Oops-a-doodle.
Oopsie daisy. Well...
Look what has happened.
God, who could have foreseen? Chad is so mad at me about talking about Rory like that.
They're gonna get your ass.
God, and all my best villains too are always villains that like
kill kids.
Well, listen, sometimes the kids gotta go. No, no. I mean, all my villains are the sort of people that like, because it's always so chilling to me, the people who can pretend to be civilized and smile and stuff like that to that sort of thing, and then just do something very heinous, right? And I just, boy howdy, do I ever enjoy that trope. Right? Just wait till you see what I did to you, Star, in so many different contexts.
No!
It is wild.
This is what I have to put. You chat, do you see what I have to put up with? He says that at least once a week. At least once a week he is torturing me with this hypothetical bullshit.
I was really worried about your mom reveal. I was like, maybe that's a bit much. And then I was like, you know what though?
I mean, that's the thing, right? Is like, because that's why I was worried about what happened in the most recent update. I was like, is this too much? But it's like, you ever kill a character because it's for plot relevancy?
I mean, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
It's just like, that's the whole reason that, like, you know, Nico wasn't gonna be a major character at first. He was gonna be like a very minor character because I always knew what was going to happen to him. But then I was just like, is it more interesting to chase this down and pursue it as like an actual like plot point that we really delve into, and then it'll make it hit a lot harder. But then like as we started getting closer to it, I was like, oh god, maybe is this too dark for my little webcomic about little guys? And I was like genuinely nervous.
Yeah, but no, you did it really well. These are also issues that sometimes need to be talked about and should be talked about, and sometimes doing it in your sweet little webcomic is probably the best way. It's the spoonful full of sugar method, right? Like, young people need to talk about these things too, and they need to talk about them in a manner that is safe. And so things like, I think I talk about this all the time whenever anyone asks me, like, what's the point of Steven Universe, for instance? And I'm like, that is the reason. Because these are difficult adult topics, but children need to know these things. Like, it's deeply important that they know these things. And I don't know, chat. I don't know if you can use that for the other thing that I was really worried about being too dark.
I don't think that saying works on the other thing that I was like banging down your door and be like, is this too dark? Is this too much? I'm genuinely worried that this is too much. It's too fucked up.
No. Do more.
Like,
I think I always encourage you to do more. Yeah. Always encouraging you to do more.
Mm-hmm. I think it was done in a very tasteful way. I am still mad at you, though. That's fair.
Yeah, that's very fair. Because that's the thing, too. People who watch, and this is actually a very good lesson for people who are watching you who want to, like, create their own stuff. People will always be mad at you for taking out something that they enjoy from a comic setting. But loss is very important as a theme. It's extremely important, you know. And so, like, if you don't have any loss whatsoever, then your story is gonna feel empty, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying you can't do a story without loss of any sort. It's just it's so much harder. You know, you have to make it about something specifically.
Sorry, I pieced out mentally for a second there because people are joking about how you just live here now.
I saw. No, I also stopped for a second to read that. I am helping my friend because she needs to focus on her drawings.
It's true.
In this case,
he did ask if I did not want him here, I would not have gotten in the voice call. So
very much, yes.
He's helping wrangle and distract chat while I draw cute little Borbos so that I can actually. I'm
very distracting.
Yes, it's true.
When I become a full-on VTuber, and with this model,
you're basically a PNG tuber now.
Yes. Oh, I love this model so much. I have to have, like, I want expressions. And I want a button to push where I become Acorn Man with a glorious body,
like Dave.
Like Dave. One day I too shall be. Oh my god! I didn't realize before, but Dave is aspirational for me. I am Buttercorn Man head, and I have been on your hip this whole time.
Good lord.
Surprise.
But yeah, the other fucked up thing that I was worried about and banging people's doors down to tell me is like, is this too much? Is this too much? We'll get there. So the other fucked thing, I will say, it's not another sad thing.
Right.
But it is certainly a thing. A thing that no one has guessed so far, and I'm very excited about because that was the goal. I'm dropping very minimal hints for this reveal because the entire point is that it's supposed to be like this big secret. And then when it finally, I'm going to be dropping like very minimal hints and seeing like if anybody catches up on my bullshit. Technically, the pages that got released today big hint.
Oh, you're
Big
right.
hint. Yeah.
Yes, it would be.
It's like, it's
Yes.
subtle, but like one of the
Mhm.
big reasons why I wanted this to actually be shown and not just like narration, like I said, was because we got a very important reveal in the last couple of pages. And a
Mhm.
couple people have commented on it. And I'm just like, hold those thoughts. Put them in your heart. Hold them in your heart, because that'll be important later, and you're gonna scream
Yeah.
about it.
This is a surprise
later, and
tool.
you're gonna scream about it.
Yeah, you are going to be very upset, chat. In a good way. In the best way. We like being upset here.
Foreshadowing. It's just I love to drop like big breadcrumbs right next to really little bread. I like to distract people, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, whoa, look at this thing. And then I just like, it's like hiding spinach in your children's food. It's just like, and then you're gonna come back to this and you're gonna be like, hey, that spinach was there the whole time. And I'm like, yes. And then my chat will go back and they will look on all the spinach that I snuck in throughout the entire story. And they're going to be like, what the fuck? How long has that been in there? And I'm going to be like, it's been in there the whole time. The whole time.
God, no,
honestly
she Sam Reiched us.
It's honestly quite devious. Because now that I'm thinking about it, I actually have dropped many hints.
You have, yes. You
I've
very much
dropped
have.
so many, and just they're just so innocuous that no one knows to look for them. And I obscure my hints behind Blorbo torture. And everybody gets so worked up, being like, Star, how could you do this to the Blorbos? How could you do this? That I have once again obscured the most important part of that scene, which will be very relevant later. Are you talking about the newest website pages or the Patreon pages? That hint specifically was about the website pages. But the Patreon folks also got a big lore drop last night that I was very excited about.
Right. See, you can't yell at me. Not
Yes,
anymore.
I can. Yes,
no,
I
you
can.
can't. You love it. You do it too.
Yes, I can. Listen, I'm allowed to be a hypocrite. I'm allowed to be a hypocrite because I'm cute.
Excuse me. What am I?
Corn.
Chat. Look at me.
You're allowed to be a hypocrite if you're cute.
I wish I had a button to like make little anime stars appear around my face right now. Chat. Look at me. Gaze upon my supple corn flesh.
All right. You can
Am
leave.
I cute? Am I cute? No, don't make me leave. Please, I'm so lonely.
Jesus Christ.
I have so many thoughts in my head. I need them out.
I have so many thoughts about swords. Help.
Please.
Please get them out.
Help me exercise sword thoughts. Chat.
You start journaling with your sword thoughts. That's what I do.
Yes, it is time to desperately journal with sword thoughts.
Yes, and get you a pen that looks like a sword. That's where the sword thoughts go.
I don't know why I don't have a pen that looks like a sword yet.
What the
It's
fuck?
'cause, like,
why don't you?
Especially because I went out and I bought a special like pen and a moleskin notebook for when I go and I meet important like organizations for the sword work that we do. Because we got hired
So
by
that you look
the
fancy.
Canadian War Museum hired us a couple years ago. And not just to do demonstrations either. I had to do like a research project for them, and they're like an international museum, right? So I was like, okay, I guess I had to wear a suit. I did things, chat.
Wow, so fancy. And yet you didn't
It
bring
was.
a pen that looks like a sword.
I did not, and it would have been a great example of of how into swords I am for the people working there. It would have been a very like, what other time could I say I had to use a pen that looks like a sword? Good lord. But yeah. That was the exhibit on, there was a private Scottish sword exhibit that had been brought into the museum, and they wanted me to make sure all of the people, all the technicians knew how to handle the weaponry. And so I had a big crash course on what weapons were and how to answer questions properly, because there are a lot of questions about Scottish swords specifically that are, you got to get them right, because there's a lot of misinformation out there about Scottish swords, let me tell you.
Oh boy.
I mean, I know you know one of them at the very least. What do you know about Scottish swords? I guarantee you it's misinformation.
I don't know what swords are Scottish.
You don't know what swords are Scottish.
No.
Are you certain about that?
I mean, off the top of my head, no, I don't know. Like, if you told me this sword is Scottish, then I would know.
You've never heard of a claymore before?
Oh, is that Scottish?
Yes.
I thought it was just a funny way of saying disclaimer.
No. Jesus Christ.
Got him! Got him!
That was impressive.
Thank
Bravo.
you.
Bravo.
Thank
Oh
you.
my god.
Hee hee. I got him,
Jinx is
chat!
screaming somewhere.
I got him!
Somewhere she is screaming.
Disclaimer! Disclaimer!
Is
And
it
then
a
the other
great
one,
shot
which is
about?
that
Yes.
Claymore.
Yes. So that claymore. Christ. That's good. I'm gonna have to sit with that for a second, chat.
I got him. I got him so good.
So the idea of a claymore as a weapon is sort of a misnomer. Claymore in Gaelic, Scots Gaelic, means great sword. And unfortunately, that doesn't mean like two-handed sword all the time. It has been used to refer to many different swords all the way back as far as the Iron Age, as far as we could tell. Way before large two-handed swords were ever a thing. So when they say, for instance, that William Wallace wielded a great sword, a claymore, they didn't mean he had a big two-handed sword, because he was alive in the 13th century, which is well before any swords of that size were ever documented. So he probably just had a longsword, just a regular longsword, like any other people that were fighting in that time period. But the Scottish would have called it a claymore, because it was his sword that was great. It was his great sword. And that's also why basket-hilted broadswords of Scottish design were also called claymore quite often, because they were the great swords of the chieftains of their time, right?
I'm nodding as if I know this.
Yeah. And again, the great someone's saying the great sword was more of a bludgeon. You're sort of correct. Sort of. It was still like a sharp sword. It's just, again, swords are really bad at killing people. And yeah, even with like a regular sword, like if you're thinking like a long sword or a short sword or something like that, the cutting power isn't really what does the most damage. It's either going to pierce you or it is going to percuss. It's going to, the weight of the sword is going to do the damage and open up more cuts. The bladed edge is just to help it focus that power, really, right? Until, of course, we get to the ability to keep very, very good high carbon steel that can be kept, that can keep an edge for longer than like 5 minutes in a sword fight. So, you know, yeah, very much. It's also why sharp swords are not particularly dangerous to handle with your bare hands, because it just, unless you're really sliding that edge around on your skin on purpose, you're really not going to cut yourself. That's just not the way swords are. You got to really hone that edge to a razor fine sharpness, and it really doesn't like to keep that edge, let me tell you.
Ow, the edge.
The edge. Call me the pizza cutter. All edge and no point.
Speaking of pizza cutter, there was a comment I wanted to make on the last stream, but you were just so into it I forgot. Thoughts on the Bloodborne pizza slicer weapon?
Which one is that?
Oh,
I never played it, but I have seen a lot of promotional material.
Find an image.
Yeah. How did I become so informed about
Bloodborne
swords?
pizza cutter. If you just Google whirligig saw is what it's called.
The whirligig saw?
Yeah, it's fun. Look at it.
Hold on.
Look at it. Look at
Oh, that.
Yeah, look at it.
Yeah. I mean, aside from the size, that sort of weapon has absolutely been attempted before.
Tell me all about it while I draw a cute skirt.
And I'm not in terms of rotating blades, probably not, because you're sort of taking away all the power of a weapon when you make a rotating blade like that. The reason why a pizza cutter works is because you are pressing up against a surface and it's rolling so that it slices along said surface. If you're cutting into somebody, they're not up against a surface typically, and you're definitely not going to puncture through them all the way to that surface anyway. So the rolling action, all it's going to do is it's going to stick at a dude, and then it's going to like stop you from drawing your weapon across them effectively, and therefore it actually will probably slice less. But weapons in terms of like having like a circular blade that is serrated, absolutely has been attempted before. They're not they didn't end up being particularly popular because once again, range will always trump any sort of interesting blade design. But
Okay,
you know,
but what about consider the following:
yes,
a gun that shoots bullets that look like this.
gun that shoots bullets that look like the pizza cutter blade.
Yeah.
Okay,
Just like
so
little
again,
bitty chainsaws going pew pew pew.
Again, I am not a gun expert. I do happen to know a gun expert.
But it would be funny though.
It would be. No, I'm saying that I believe probably something sort of similar has happened. Not in terms of shooting little chainsaws that are miniaturized, motorized things, but in terms of shooting serrated like shrapnel, absolutely. That has to have happened. I don't know the actual name for it. Once again, if my buddy is watching, he will probably message me in a couple minutes saying it's this. We are all the same people. We just are autistic about different things. So you know. Oh man. There have been medieval traps that look like that pizza cutter though, and they were like rotating saw blades. So one of the things that medieval sword masters used to do to prove that they were like these big geniuses is they would invent a lot of things. So like Talhofer once wrote, I think it was Talhofer once wrote about these wetsuits that he designed so that you could go diving, and they were pump operated. And this was, you have to remember, in like 1500 something, right? And so, you know, he wrote about those things. And then him and I think Lithenhauer both talked about these inventions. One of them had developed like a sort of land armored carriage that had handgunners inside of it. So basically an early tank, very similar to what Da Vinci wrote about a couple of, maybe around the same time. And there were these interesting traps that you could put in the baileys of castles just after the doorway, so that if anyone ever breached the doorway, they would have to make it through these like strips of essentially moving blades. Very D&D trap-esque sort of thing. You know, they would be on like rollers, and then they would just be spring-loaded, and they'd like zoom around and cut people to ribbons, ostensibly speaking. I doubt these were ever built, but who knows? And then one of them built like, it looked like a steel shrimp essentially, with like covered in blades. And this thing would be like on a little like trolley, and it would like be on a rope on both ends, and it would just scoot from one side of the hallway to the other, and you had to get past it. And if you did get past it and someone noticed, they could trigger it and it would explode because there was like a little hidden charge in it. Yeah.
If it fails, make it explode, scritching down like inventor's notes.
Man, so many people were into gunpowder when it finally got to Europe. Like, holy shit, people were on that. It was instantaneous. Not a lot of people adapted quickly, though. There's a breastplate we recovered from, I think it was the Siege of Orleans. The exact battle where Joan of Arc made her name by sallying out of the siege, the besieged castle of Orleans, and leading the French to victory against the British. but there is a breastplate we recovered, and I believe we even know who it was from. I just can't remember the name of the guy right now. It has a hole in the chest that is the perfect size as a cannonball, because cannons were in regular use at the end of the 1500s.
Verity.
And so, this guy literally ran out of the castle and took a cannonball dead on, and it made him a much holier person.
Oh.
Yeah, you should really see the breastplate. It is this guy is dead. It is this guy is dead the most that any artifact has ever been found.
Find the picture and send it to me on Discord.
Whoever was wearing this at the time.
That happened to Verity. She got shot with a cannon.
And she was wearing an adamantine breastplate. So congratulations. And
then she had to go tell Ronan about it later, and she just phrased it as like, "Hey, can I borrow your forge? I need to fix a dent in my armor." And he's like, "How'd you dent it?" And she was like, "Oh, not major, just
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about
it.
All right, this is the plate.
May have, during the altercation with the pirates up in the mountains, may have the important thing is that I'm okay now, and
yep.
And Rodin's just like, Verity, what? Why are you stalling?
Oh my goodness, I actually had the wrong story about this. I mean, it was roughly the same. This guy definitely took a cannonball in the chest, but he was a we do know who it was. It was 19-year-old Antoine Fravo. And he was struck and killed by a cannonball at the Battle of Waterloo with Napoleon Bonaparte. So this was like 300 years after that, after what I said it was. I'm remembering some artifact.
Misinformation on my live stream?
Guys, I just told a lie on the internet. See, this is also very important to remember, everybody.
Spread misinformation, he says.
Oh, I have done this. Remember, folks, I am autistically spouting a bunch of things that I have internalized, and some of those things can get cross-referenced. I'm going to have to now go and look at who I was thinking about, the artifact that we have of somebody who died at the Battle of Orleans. But always remember that this is the thing that I know from what I have researched. That doesn't mean it is correct. So double check your sources, always. But yes, this, like I said, this breastplate is the most dead a person has been. This would very likely have separated his arm, I imagine. I feel so free. That's the meme I was
looking for, but it's the first one that I found, and I thought it was funny.
Yeah, very much.
Oh,
yeah, this poor 19-year-old French man died very badly. To be fair, it was probably quick.
Lord,
there's no way
that diddly does go through both sides, didn't it?
Yup. That boy, yeah, like his torso, half of his torso was absolutely missing. Young lad was gone, and you can also tell from the armor that he was probably a relatively wealthy young man. First of all, he was a cuirassier, which it means he was basically one of those guys that was still on horseback in the sort of colonial era combat that they were doing. Which means he probably had pistols and stuff like that. This would have been his gear that he owned, that he bought himself. So as you can tell, very expensive stuff.
Sprung for the adamantine.
Yeah, dude ran out on his horse with his buddies, and the first cannon shot that came across them probably, blam, hit poor Antoine right in the side of the chest. And poor Antoine was no more.
Well, like
I said,
man.
Definitely dead. It'll buff out. Jesus.
It did for Verity.
It did. Yeah, it did buff out for Verity. Adamantine, everybody.
Adamantine.
Do you guys want to know why adamantine is a trope? Here, I'm going to link this into D&D a little more because I think that's what's necessary. So adamantine is what they used to call diamond.
Ooh.
Right. And because obviously it was like one of the hardest things they had ever found and they couldn't work it into anything, it was this sort of mythical trope that, I would love something made of pure adamantine. And it just, obviously they could never, Europeans anyway, back then, could certainly never get enough diamonds to even consider that sort of thing. But even if they could have, there's no way it could have been worked like a metal. And so it was all just like fantasy, right?
Flim flam and nonsense.
Yeah.
I bet now you wouldn't have the scarcity problem though, because you can just like you can grow diamonds in your basement if you have the right setup.
Yeah, so here's the interesting thing. We definitely can't work diamond like metal. But you're right, we can just grow diamond. And that means we can grow it in any shape we want. Which means you could absolutely have an adamantine breastplate.
I want it. Would that mean that it's like clear?
You could. You have to remember also that things like ruby and sapphire and stuff like that, they're technically like very close to being diamond themselves. So you can tint, and diamonds come in many shapes on their own, many shapes and colors on their own as well. So like, yeah, you could tint it. You could tint that shit.
I need
now,
to
the thing
rework
is,
Verity's armor design now.
now the thing is though, is that also that I am not certain that diamond would actually make for a good armor. Yes, it is very hard, but that's not for the same reason why you don't want a very hard metal car.
I was about to say, is this going to turn into a Cybertruck ring?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. For the same reason why you don't want, for instance, sharp, dangerous stainless steel plates all over your car. For the same reason you wouldn't want that, very clearly, very obviously, Mr. Genius. You wouldn't want a diamond, you wouldn't want anything super hard on your defending yourself and your armor. You want something with a bit of flex, with a bit of give, because that helps the acceleration slow down before it reaches your soft, squishy body, which does not take acceleration very well. And so, for instance, it probably wouldn't be a big deal against things like swords and axes and stuff like that. You would not be comfortable. It would still be nicer to have some steel instead, but you would certainly not be like getting shot with a bullet on a diamond breastplate, which would probably stop the bullet or ricochet it more likely. But also, all of that force would 100% be transferred directly to your ribs, and that's not good. Yeah,
That's an ideal.
that's not good. And yeah, I don't think, even though we can absolutely like make diamond in our basement, as Star says these days, it's still probably not something anyone wants to try because it is still like a lot of material to scrounge up, right? And if you mess up, you're screwed. You have to try again. Like that diamond is useless.
There's a guy on TikTok who just grows bismuth in a hot pot.
Yeah.
In like a crock pot or something.
Hell
like,
yeah.
Cool. I see a lot of things on TikTok that are strange and interesting.
I saw a guy punch a hole in his microwave and use it to power a light bulb across the room.
Hello?
Because you can do that. They used to microwave, incidentally, is how we would have wireless power.
Oh my god, they're frying our brains.
And they're going to. But like if we were going to have, and probably in the next decade or so, we're going to start to see these first solar farms in orbit. They're going to transfer power down usually using microwaves because it's more reliable than transferring it via what else would they use? I used to know this because I used to write about it. There's another method that is technically a little bit less signal degradation, but a cloud, for instance, would completely stop it from working, which is not ideal. And so I think microwaves are what they're going to eventually use. And obviously they're not going to be shooting microwaves somewhere random. They're going to be shooting it at a receiver. You want to get in front of this microwave. But yeah, they'll just transfer like megawatts straight down. Easy.
But Jay, the microwaves in my bloodstream.
You need to be microwaved.
No.
Oh, my info on mail. I thought for a second, because the way you spelled it, that you meant the mail as in the post. But I realize now you meant mail. How so, Sly? How was it good for you over the weekend? Oh, you went to a Ren fair. That's right. Oh, Ren fairs. I used to work them. I miss them.
I've still never been to a Ren Fair.
We're gonna
Turns
get you
out,
there.
The Ren Fair that's closest to me is only open during, like, the heat of summer. It's not open in the fall. If I wanted to go to a Ren Fair in fall, I'd have to drive all the way to Houston, and I'm not doing that.
Yeah. You'll tell me in Discord? Dope. Okay, cool. Yes, that's how you spell male. Don V is asking, what would be a good type of sword for a race of tall, slender people? So again, in almost every answer, you want to pick the one that gives you the most range and is the easiest to use, right? My answer for almost everybody who needs a sword would be to take a saber. Sabers are easy to learn. They're light. They are strong. Their cuts are fast. Their stabs are adequate. They have a bell to keep your hand safe. Sabers are pretty much the ultimate sword, and you can tell that because also it was like the last sword type that we really fell on as a civilization before swords fell out of common usage. Things like sabers, small swords, spadroons, that sort of like late era complex steel swords that are whip thin and particularly good at defending yourself. Very, very useful to use for just about everybody.
Willow.
Look at her.
She. Baby girl.
Baby girl.
She is here to kick ass and tell stories.
Until she dies.
Oh.
I made it really heartbreaking too.
No! Don't spoil it.
Okay. I think we already did here, actually.
Did we? I don't
I
remember.
think so, yeah. Yeah. It would have been last time, I think.
I don't think it was, because last time when you were here, we were just talking about swords for 2 hours.
Listen,
The whole time.
I remember saying something.
I
just
watch
can't
my
remember when.
VODs back, sir.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
see.
Occasionally, when I'm looking for something.
Oh, I see. I was going to say because you miss people or something.
No, I just like the sound of my own voice. That's why I talk so much.
Oh, shit.
But also, it's just like good form in general for streamers to watch their VODs back just to, you know, like check for technical issues, make sure that you're actually being entertaining and stuff. It's a piece of advice that a lot of people recommend for like new streamers is like actually go back and watch your VODs afterwards. It'll help you catch problems. Look at my baby girl. She's so cute. I had the mental image of like this big bow scarf, and I'm like, yeah, that's very her. But the concept here is like, what if, like, country girl wants to be a princess so fucking bad? What would that look like?
Who could say?
Who could say? Like, she wants to be a princess, but she does not have a princess budget.
Right.
How does she dress? And also I've decided that she is really good at sewing and she makes a lot of her own clothes. And then Verity is like hopeless at sewing and like any kind of fabric craft. But she's really, really good with armor. And so the two of them are like this powerhouse duo of fashionistas.
Oh God, if they hadn't have both beefed it, there would have been such a thing going on at Red Large.
They could have had a fashionable side hustle just for funsies.
Especially once Verity got control of the business, right?
Oh yeah. They take a turn in a more fashionable direction. I love them. I love Willow too, even though she's not like the primary focus of a lot of my Blorbo thinking. She's just so good.
Yeah.
she's very much like this take no bullshit type of character, which is fun when it's combined specifically with a very feminine character. It's like she takes no shit, but also she's not like super macho about it or anything. She just
does what she wants.
Likes. Yeah. And we love that for her.
Yeah. My God. What a cool bunch of characters.
Yep. Shame they're all dead.
Yep. It's upsetting that they're never gonna come back.
No. Listen, she wants them to really bad.
I can imagine.
He's like, okay, friendship quest. She's finally like is able to revive all her friends through like, you know, methods that will like allow her to do. She like works together with a bunch of people and figures out how to bring back all the friends, and she's like, okay, who's ready for attempt number 2?
This time everybody lives.
Just this once.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for remembering what I was thinking of.
Yes. The best episode.
Yeah.
That was a Doctor Who quote for those who are not familiar. For those
who are not in the know. For the
were not
youths
alive in 2012.
Star, why would you say that? Why would you scare me like that?
Inviting the demons into my home.
God. You know we're not supposed to talk about them.
The demons?
The demons.
Well, if I can't talk about that, I can talk about my stupid journal sticker.
Yes, you can.
Because that happened after the last stream, and I haven't talked about it on stream yet. So I talked to you guys on stream about how I've started a new journaling habit, and as part of my new journaling habit, I've gone down the Hobonichi rabbit hole. And I'm having a little bit of regret. Not from like going into the rabbit hole, but I'm kind of regretting the one I got. There's part of me that now, seeing how small the little one is, I'm kind of wishing I had sprung for the bigger one anyway. Because I'm like, this would be no problem at all to fill up with how big, because I have pretty big handwriting, and one of my main reasons for getting the little one, it's like an A6 size. One of my main reasons for getting the little one was it felt like less pressure to fill a page every day, but then I actually get it, and I'm like, I fill like twice this much in just my daily little like morning entries in my journal. Because my handwriting is huge. Now I'm like, I already put I can't return the little one now because I've already opened it and put some stickers in it, but do I just splurge on the bigger one and then and I have to keep like talking myself down? It's like, Star, no, put the credit card down, get off the website, put it down.
There's crack in this air.
But what I have realized is that technically there is nothing stopping me. I have all of the tools and materials required to make my own custom planner stickers.
It's a red alert situation, everybody.
I was posting all my fucking pics in like stationary girlies chat. I stayed up late on Saturday making, I gotta go get the pics. Hold on. Also, Jared, don't enable me because these planners are not cheap. These are expensive planners. Like the little one was $40 because it's really nice paper, but it's like, it's fucking expensive, and the bigger one is even more. But I'm like, there's a store in Austin that sells them, and I kind of want to skedoodle down there at some point and see it in person before I commit. And I really, really shouldn't anyway, because I have already spent way too much money on this hobby. But anyway, I made custom stickers for my baby girls to mark. when we have session days. By two of the big ones, Savannah. No. No. But look, so there's Verity one for Thursday sessions, and then the Lapis one for Sunday, and then the Emery one. And there's the baby, Holly. Holly, thank you for the 10 gifted memberships. I appreciate it. If you just got gifted a membership, make sure to say thank you. But yeah, so this, I'm sure that this is only the beginning. There is literally nothing stopping me now.
They are coming.
I am an unstoppable beast at this point because like this is me real like okay, so what I did do was so these stickers, they turned out great, but I did just use like the regular sticker paper that I had laying around my house. And and so the stickers are like somewhat repositionable in like thicker paper, but the planner sticker, like, so the paper in this planner is really thin. And so they're not super repositionable on this paper without tearing it up. So I did buy some like reusable sticker paper, some repositionable sticker paper. That should get here to me within a couple days, but I'm also going out of town for a couple days this week, so I will not be able to play with those until I get back, most likely.
Quite true.
But yeah, I get silly and excited about most stickers. Oh no. I just realized. Going on this trip I'm going on in a couple days involves me going to the airport, which means that I could, in theory, swing by the fancy stationery store because it's just north of the airport.
I see.
I could just go on my way back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no. Oh no, that's a perfectly good excuse, and then I wouldn't have to worry about the gas money. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yes.
Here, distract my chat for a few minutes. I need to go close the blinds because it got dark.
Right. Yeah.
It got dark.
All right, chat. It's your time to shine. Let's just close some blinds. Ask me questions. What do you think? What do you want? Anything?
Yeah, engage Jay in his tism. Keep him stimulated for a few minutes.
I don't. Wow. Everybody, I believe in you. Tell me about Kurosagama. I have no idea what Kurosagama is. Actually, I probably do know what Kurosagama is, but I don't. I am not an Eastern style at all. I did used to do Kenjutsu, but that's just how I got in there. Can scissors be considered a double sword? I mean, if you watch Kill la Kill, yes. Enjoy that glass of orange juice you gave her when you fit. I mean, she almost murdered me, but yes, she did. Would you say D&D swords are? D&D swords are not accurate. D&D weaponry and armor and swords were made by a dude whose only access to history was what we knew in the 60s when he was growing up. Like, that is why things are so messed up. We have believed some very funny, silly things about weaponry and armor and stuff like that, and that is why they are the way they are. And that's also why I generally change things in my games. For instance, all great swords in my setting have reach, because they should have reach. If you wanted to get a rapier, do you have a type you'd recommend? Yes! Castile Armory, Castille, Castile Armory, makes a bunch of very good beginner swords. They have their economy line of swords. They have small swords, side swords, sabers, and rapiers. And I believe they even have arming swords in their economy line. They are relatively cheap, especially considering training weapons. And you can buy replacement blades, which are deeply important when you're doing things like rapier. If you are getting into a thrust-centric fencing style, like rapier, like small sword, you have to remember that the weapons you are buying have a shelf life. They will eventually take a set, which is to keep a bend in the blade at some point, and then they will be basically unusable, because the next time you use them, you cannot be guaranteed that they will not break, and that is a dangerous blade. So if you are going to do that, buy from somebody who sells replacement blades. Castile Armory, their economy line, I cannot recommend it enough. It's perfect. Yeah, yeah. Like for instance, they have a Scottish basket hilted economy sword, and I really want it because my friend and I have a copy of McBain's treatise on Scottish fencing from the 1700s, and I really want to attempt it. Scottish isn't really my thing, but like it's my friend's thing, and I would love to have a couple of basket hilted broadswords to fence with because it's essentially saber. I think sabers are better weapons in general, but that's just because they are.
Scottish is very much your thing whenever you have to voice a dwarven character.
I've been switching it up occasionally, subtly, as you might have noticed. Rodin is absolutely your typical Scottish dwarf because I wanted to do a soft Scottish boy.
But it kills me because like Scottish is one of those accents I just cannot do.
Can't roll your R's?
And so then when I'm doing, you know, like my little pace around my house by myself and talk to myself role-playing scenes, like thinking about future sessions, I can't do Rodin's voice right. He ends up turning Russian.
Well, then maybe you should just speak softly like this.
It's not the same.
That's true, it's not.
It's not the same and you know it.
I should record some basic lines that you can just play back to yourself whenever you do this.
No, this is how I like brainstorm plot shit and like little comics that I want to draw. Is I just pace around my living room and I alarm my cats. They hate it when I do this. Milo specifically. Molly, I don't think she cares, but Molly gets very antsy when I do this. I'll just like pace the loop from my kitchen to my dining to my living room. And I just talk to myself and like do little scenes to myself. And my cats hate it. And sometimes I'll do little character voices because that brings me joy. And sometimes the characters have accents that I'm not good at.
Absolutely.
And it hurts my feelings.
It's so funny that you can do like a very, very base Russian, but not a Scottish. They're essentially the same accent.
They're think it's partly because I just don't have a lot of exposure to this Scottish accent. Lord of the Rings characters, a lot of them have Scottish accents, right?
Well, specifically the dwarf, because they got John Rhys Davies, and they were like, you should do this. But it's important to note that when Tolkien was designing the dwarvish language in his books, he used Jewish as the basic for it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, then maybe Sarah would have a Scottish accent actually. Like a little bit, because actually like a lot of the Elvish names I took from basically how I name my Elvish characters is I find like Hebrew names, specifically like angel names, like from the Bible and stuff. And I switched some of the letters around because I just think that they sound really pretty.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know, maybe there's a little bit of precedent there.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, who could say? You could use Irish. A lot of because most of our Elvish mythos comes from Irish Gaelic. And so, you know, especially like if anyone's played Vermintide, the wood elf there, she's got a lovely Irish accent for the Lumberfoots that encountered her, and it's beautiful. I don't do Irish so well. I tend to drift into Scottish whenever I try it, which
that's like
fair
me
enough.
with Russian.
They're very close. They're very close. Yeah. Just do Russian Rodin. Hello, I am Russian Rodin. I am here to love the verity and to be a good little boy. That's me.
Why are you talking like that?
There's an imposter. Rodin?
Oh no.
Rodin hit his head.
No, this is that's how the clones talk.
That's how the clones talk. Hello, it's me, Rodin. I am here to be the Lord of the Meat Bars. And
Rodin, why do they talk like that?
I don't know. I cannot get them to stop. Certainly think it's because the jars we make them in have too small a space for their heads.
Oh. Jesus Christ.
I'm so pleased.
Good lord. Now people are making Among Us jokes in my chat. I hope you're happy.
Among Us, yes, yes. Verity, help! All my clones are being sussy backers.
Where did you learn that language?
The kids outside, they shouted at me. I don't know why.
I don't know what it means.
They always laugh and run away.
Don't they know who I am?
See, they have to know who I am, right? They need to.
I run this city. I guess if I want to get better at the Scottish accent, all I have to do is I use this as an excuse to replay Bravely Default 2 and spend some time with best boy Elvis, who I did think was Australian at first. Because I'm not good at recognizing accents. Don't worry about it. But yeah, basically every accent I try to do turns into bad Russian eventually. Either bad Russian or Southern. Southern I can just do drop of a hat because that's where I'm from. I can do the Southern accent all day. Like, it's funny though, because I didn't really get good at the Southern accent until I went to school down in Georgia, because like where I'm from in Texas, like no one talks like this.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, you go down.
Which is strange. Everyone thinks that Texans talk like that. Everybody.
But we don't. I genuinely did not meet anybody with this kind of accent until I moved to Georgia, and that's there down in the deep south.
Right.
The deep south.
You need the deepest south.
I just remember that when I lived in Japan, there was like this little ramen restaurant. It was just like a neighborhood hole-in-the-wall ramen joint that me and my friend Kayla would go to like once a week. And of course, you know, we're like in, like not even nowhere near Tokyo. This is just like, just random suburbia Japan. This is not a tourist attraction. They are not used to seeing foreigners. Like they'll see them occasionally, but it was very rare. And so the fact that these like two white girls would occasionally go in and eat ramen at this very much like neighborhood suburban ramen restaurant was very interesting to them. They thought we were so much fun. They gave us candy every time we went in there. But I remember one time, you know, they tried to, once they figured out that we could speak a little bit of Japanese, they would like ask us questions. I was like, oh, where are you from? Da-da-da. And so I tried to tell them I'm from Texas, but they didn't like quite get that. They didn't know where it was or what it meant. And so we basically stumbled through a conversation trying to tell them, I was like, have you ever seen cowboy movies? It's like that. And then they got it.
Of course, yes.
It's like, do you know
that would
Clint
make
Eastwood?
a lot of sense. That would make a lot of sense to them. There's a huge history of like cowboy movies and and samurai movies being a thing.
Mm. It's very funny. The local foreign cryptids. I mean, we basically were. Like, you know, we lived in like the apartments down the street. So like people would assume it's like if we're seeing foreigners in this part of town, they're probably English teachers. That was generally the assumption. It was generally correct. But yeah, it was just interesting and fun. I miss that place. I literally had a dream about that ramen restaurant a few nights ago.
I have always wanted to go to like a big ramen restaurant. I think they'd be very fun.
Oh, it's so good.
Also, I've definitely wanted to go to like rural Japan. Absolutely.
Yes. Listen, if it ever happens, I will go too, and I'll be tour guide. We shall not get lost
Dope.
on the train with me around. I know what I'm doing. Take it all the best
I
shopping.
See.
That was like my
be
favorite
best
thing to
shipper.
do, is just like, because Honestly, I'm kind of boring to travel with because I don't necessarily care about doing like touristy stuff. I just want to like window shop all day. I just want to walk around and have my music in my headphones and just look at shit. I would go on like trips to Tokyo just by myself for like a weekend and just like look at shit. Just like walk around with my headphones in and just look at shit. And it was so much fun, and I wish I had done it more back when I still lived there.
Right.
I miss it so bad. Like, one day I will go back. But
One
it's
day
fucking
you must
expensive, and I
return.
don't have anybody to go with right now.
One day. Listen,
One day.
when What's Left of Us makes it very big, we'll do a Japanese tour.
You know what would probably make that easier?
What's that?
If we had a bunch of shorts that helped market the series by, yeah, bitch, I'm going there.
I walked right into it.
You did. You sure as shit did. What are you gonna do about it?
I'm gonna make some shorts.
Yay!
I will cover every weapon type in the thing. See, the problem is that Legal Kimchi did a little bit of this earlier too, and I feel like I'm a little bit chomping his steez, except of course that I'm a medieval weapons professional.
You're allowed to talk. Oh my god, like this is something that I get from like all y'all, my YouTuber friends. Just because someone else has made a video on a topic does not mean that nobody else can ever make a video on that same topic. Do
but
the thing.
I like Kimchi. He's cool.
And if he's cool, then I'm sure he would not mind a slightly different take on a similar topic. Because, like, again, it's the artist perspective thing. That's, for your audience, that's two cakes. From, like, a different perspective, and it's interesting.
That is
like,
indeed two cakes. You are correct.
You know, when... I'll give you a perfectly good example. When I went down the rabbit hole that is Fear and Hunger, a game that I will never play myself, most likely, but that I find extremely interesting to read about and watch videos about, get excited when I find a new one from another person, because it's like, yes, a new video for me to watch about the same topic that will possibly have, like, you know, a slightly different take on things, because that's interesting. If only one person made a video about that game and said, oh, so-and-so already made a video about this game, so that means I can never do it. Do you know how ridiculous that sounds? I desire more cakes. I desire more videos about Fear and Hunger. Jay needs to make the damn sword videos. This is my patented being aggressively supportive thing that Zoe always tells me that I do.
It's true, she does. She's scary.
Apparently it's a little intense, but I do it out of love.
I mean, we hope you do it out of love.
What else would I do it out of?
Rage. I
mean, that's also part of it. But it's rage because I love my friends and I want them to follow their dreams!
Ah!
And make the silly YouTube videos!
Ah! What's your emote's name? Star Panic or something? Can't remember.
Something I don't remember.
Chat, if you support me.
Like Starscream
if you ever
or
loved
something.
me. Yeah, put Starscream. Which is a transformer.
Yeah, and jacked my steez.
That sounds gross.
Listen, I've been watching a lot of Game Grumps recently, and they say that a lot.
Yeah, I bet they do.
It's good to just put on in the background while I'm doing other shit, because you don't have to pay that much attention to it.
I can only imagine.
Don't let your dreams be dreams, or alternatively, don't let your dreams just be screams.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah. Dream
Willow
and
didn't.
scream simultaneously.
Yeah, she definitely did. Especially at the end there when she was woken up.
Huh?
From her dreams by screaming because she was getting murdered.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I missed the first part of that because I didn't hear you very well.
But then I said it again so you could.
Yep.
Because I'm a good friend.
Uh-huh. He's fighting for his life here, chat.
Press 1 if you enjoy J-Con's antics. Press 2 if you wish to give Star a blunt object to hurl towards Canada.
Jesus Christ. Here they come. Here they come.
No!
Here they come. I've got 3 blunt weapons already.
No!
Yay! I can start a collection now.
Damn. You can have
can
all the
start a
really
collection.
bad looking Warhammers you want.
Yay! Look at them all.
I will have none of this.
Too bad. Hits you over the head.
Ah.
Fucking beans you with a stick. Beans you, beans you, beans you. That's like my favorite Tumblrism that I've seen a handful of times recently, where it's just like, I can't remember exactly how it goes, but it's just, the punchline is, hits you, hits you, hits you, hits you, hits you, just saying that over and over again. It's so visceral, and it's so funny to me for whatever reason.
Whatever reason, we know why.
It's because I have a silly sense of humor. And
You
I like
wish
hitting
to
people.
cartoon style just destroy people.
Bonk. Hits you, hits you, hits you, hits you, hits you.
It's Sune Miku, am I right, folks?
Alright, get out.
No! Please.
You're done.
No.
You've been cut off.
Chan, please. I was here to help.
And what have you accomplished?
I have not gone on a 2-hour spree of talking basically nonstop without air. I have also allowed you to finish 2 drawings of Blorbos.
That is true. I don't think I would have accomplished that if you hadn't been here.
Yay!
Hits you, hits you, hits you, hits you, hits
No!
you. I am gonna run a little bit over time though, because I really want to finish this
fine.
Willow. I'm so close.
That gives us all more time to just hear fun facts
about swords.
about the swords and about the bow.
All right, get it out of your system.
I don't know. Chad hasn't asked me anything yet. I'm like one of those old dime machines where you like put in a nickel and it tells you something funny.
Oh yeah.
Is that too old a reference for people here? I can't remember.
Think that might be too old of a reference for me. I've never heard of that.
Futurama used to make a big funny with it because they had that Oracle machine. You pay a nickel and you get your
I've
future.
never watched Futurama, so that'll do it. I was a bit too young for my parents to let me watch that show when it was popular. But my parents were also very protective of what I watched on TV. I was not allowed to watch certain cartoons because they were, quote, gross. Like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, even though all the neighbor kids watched it and I was the only one who couldn't.
Oh, wait a second, Sly. What question did you ask that I did not answer? I don't remember. And you tell chat about those helmets we talked about in Discord.
Oh yeah, y'all went off for like another 2 hours in my Discord chat. That was a thing that happened that I have not griefed you about yet.
It was very funny. So chat dug up a really cursed looking helmet. They're called, they were from the Maximilian line of armor. There is a type of plate armor called a Maximilian pattern. We call it that because it was supposedly invented by Emperor Maximilian of Rome. And he very well could have been, but it's probably much more likely that his armor makers invented it, and then he was like, "Excellent, thank you, stick my name on it," and they did. And so the big point of this armor is that for certain people that Maximilian liked, he got the helmets made in his likeness with like his glasses and his mustache on it sometimes. And so the and so they do look pretty cursed because they're made to look like Maximilian's face, right? And so if he gave you this, it was the height of coolness, right? It was like, oh, cool, Emperor Maximilian thinks I'm awesome enough to give me one of these helmets that look like his face, and then I can wear it, and then I could look like Emperor Maximilian walking around.
Like cosplay.
Yeah, essentially. And you have to remember that people thought this was cool. Even the one where it's a younger Maximilian, but if he was a tiefling because he wanted horns, I guess.
Good lord.
Maximilian was a tiefling cosplayer. Let's go tiefling supremacy. But if you look at these helmets, they well, just Google Maximilian helmet face if you need extra search strings, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
My stream with visions of this.
Yeah, it's not it's not cool looking at all. Sly is asking, favorite bladed weapon was one of them, but there was a second part. My favorite bladed weapon is my short sword. My 14th century, really early period short sword. I like the idea of using a weapon that would have probably been on my hip as I was walking around town. I like the idea that I can use that same style of fencing with, say, a messer, which is a shorter sword that I convinced Star would look really cool on Emery, and that's why she's got two of them.
Like the slightly curvy ones.
Yeah, they have very messers and falchions are the same weapon essentially, except messers have knife handles, which is why they're called messers, which means knife. And falchions have a sword handle. That's it. But them specifically, their blades were usually honed to like razor sharpness, meant to cut through things like jackets, because these weapons were kept on people who were typically walking around town and therefore not in armor or out in the woods, just doing stuff. So the worst armor you could come across in that case was likely like a thick jacket. And so you needed to regular weapons don't actually cut very well through jackets like that, but a messer, they were usually sharp enough. And also that made them extremely light as well. And so like all the, and a lot of people can consider like proper messer fencing to be like wrestling with a crowbar. Essentially, you use the messer to like joint lock the enemies and stuff like that, and like get them in a position to stab them properly. It's very fun, very cool looking. What's the difference between typical chain and scale mail? If there is in fact a difference in the second part, I had to find it. Okay, was the second part, you had to find it. So as far as we are aware, scale mail, which is the actual proper term for it, right? Mail being chain, scale being scales. So it is a coat of scales made of chain, chained together. We have some examples of historical suits of scale, but we're unsure, I believe, if they're ceremonial or not. I have to double check my sources on that. Don't take me for a copy of that. We do know that scale mail was very much not a common thing. The examples we have are from obviously very nicely kept suits. It could have been there for decoration. Scales seem much harder to maintain than regular mail. Although they seem to have been about as effective. Maybe even a little bit more effective if you consider that thrusting at a series of little tiny plates is much harder than thrusting at just an open weave of mail. But yeah. It is an interesting little historical anachronism where as far as I know right now, the research is we don't really know exactly in what historical context scale mail was used. It does look really cool, to be fair. Yeah. That's the other thing too. A lot of fantasy armor is the way it is because it looks really cool, right? Yeah. Like no one is denying that. The whole point of a lot of these fantasy armors is that they look fucking cool. Like a lot of leather, for instance. As far as we know, people didn't make leather armor. It wouldn't have been useful. Leather is almost entirely impossible to repair after it's been damaged. And every time you go into combat, you are going to damage your armor. Every time. Doesn't matter what it is. Metal you could hammer back out. Mail you could replace links. A padded jacket you could sew back into place. Leather, no. Especially we do like have some leather armor examples, but like they're probably ceremonial, and if they're not ceremonial, they were probably more of like an experiment that didn't last very long. We have things like boiled leather and cuir brûlée, right? Cuir brûlée is very hard. It would be very protective, but aside from using them in terms of like making plates of cuir brûlée and putting it in like a padded jacket, I don't think we've got many examples of like full cuir brûlée sets. And like I said, they'd be impossible to repair. As soon as they got cracked or damaged anyway, you had to throw the whole thing out, which not ideal. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, guys, like this is another thing too. You'll find a lot of people who are really like into the same sort of stuff I am, and many of them will be a little bit snobby about, hey, this has to be historically accurate. I try really hard to not do that. I fail because sometimes I really do. You can add star hammers, squiddos. The you'll never beating the allegations. The big deal is to let people have fun, right? The only time I get upset is when people try to pass off fantasy stuff as real historical stuff. That's the only time I really get touchy about it, because like there's no reason to do that. History itself is cool, right? And if people are out there looking for examples of what to do or what to look like or what to wear, like especially if you're cosplaying, for instance, historical stuff is just more comfortable. It was made for real people's bodies. And so like, yeah, this fantasy armor looks really cool, but if you don't like try to make it on top of like a historical armor piece, you're going to be deeply uncomfortable while wearing it. I remember somebody made, I forget who it was in my group, but they were making like a breastplate for themselves or something like that. And they made it like, it looked very cool. It looked very like an anime breastplate for like, this is a European medieval breastplate. Ha ha. And the way they made it was such that whenever they bent really like double over, basically, they had made it so that it didn't match up with their rib cage properly. And so basically they were pushing metal into their ribs. And so if they had ever fallen down while in the wrestle or something like that and had been accidentally forced double, their ribs would have broken. Like that's, you know, so yeah, it looks cool. But if you really want it to be functional, at least in the fact that it won't hurt you, please look up historical suits.
I think I'm done.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at them.
Look at they.
Look at they. They babies. Just a couple of nerds. Here, let's put the whole squad together.
Hot boy. Oh, I forgot. Remember when I told you what Darius would have worn to a party?
Yes. Slut.
You gotta draw him in it. You gotta.
I do. I have to draw a slutty little party outfit. But yes,
Hey,
this
aren't they
is the
missing
first...
somebody? Aren't they missing
I
somebody?
wonder who.
Probably nobody important.
Yeah. But yeah, there's the Floorbows! This is actually, I was really excited about doing these ones specifically because this is the first time I've ever actually, like, done finished artwork of these characters. Like, every art of these characters that has existed before now has just been, like, sketches in my sketchbook and whatever. I've done some color, like, little sketches of Rodin, but I never, like, fully planned out any. I accidentally hit the lever that makes my chair go down with my foot. It scared me. I suddenly started sinking.
Oh no.
It was very scary. But yes, the squad is all here, and I love them so much. My babies.
Well, it has been my pleasure to brainworm about them with you.
Yes. I'm sure I will think of more obnoxious things to throw at you later tonight.
Beautiful. I can't wait.
I'll just like be sitting and doing my business and just be like, Jay, what is this?
Could this be true about our wizards?
Oh my god! Bitchy wizard headcanons!
Bitchy wizard headcanons.
Ugh. He's the worst.
Wild.
I love him. Anyway, I'm hungry, so I'm gonna end the stream now.
That's true. I'm a little hungry myself, so I will go
Hungry.
ahead and also leave. But
Yes.
as usual, it is very easy to get me to do things. So
Bully
go
him, Chad.
ahead,
Bully him with me.
me.
Bully him.
I will do things.
But yes,
How
I'm
dare.
going to go ahead and call it a night. Thank you all for joining me. Our next stream will be on Wednesday, where we will be drawing more blorbos.
Even more. How could there be more?
There's
Stay
still
tuned.
3 more I have to do. I have to do Felix, I have to do Storm, and I have to do Cyrus. Those are the 3 that I have not done yet.
That's true.
So one
I've only
of
got my
those will
greedy
be for
hands
next
into one of
week.
those. Yeah.
But yes, thank you guys for coming. I will see you guys next time. Fare thee well, friends.
Goodbye.